that live button.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Says we're live. Looks like we are live. I'm pretty sure we're live. I think we're live, Mike. You think we're live?
I don't know. My
Oh,
first time
right.
here.
How would you know? How would you know? Well, yeah. This is the first time Mike has been on my podcast. We've been friends for a little while already, but never has Mike actually been on the stream. However, he has been invited several times and has accepted said request several times. However, luck would just so have it that it just hasn't worked out. Be it.
It was meant for March 6th. I think that was the date that was printed.
This is the day. Yeah. This is the day that Mike is finally on. So, yeah. I'm gonna give people a moment to roll in here. I'm gonna check in. I was gonna. Oh right, I meant to let people know on Twitter that we're live. I didn't.
All right, let me see here. All right, having hope. Hi, hello, what's up?
Going live. Yeah. So, guys, just so you know, right? I'm in the middle of a moving process.
Nintendo Gaming, Charles Trudell, Zell Geek Apprentice, Charles Trudell again.
Thank you for shouting people out for me, Mike. Yes. Good evening, everyone. So, tonight what we're going to be talking about is Nintendo, as we usually do every Monday night. Brandon's not here again. He's actually also still in the middle of moving as well, figuring some stuff out. As you may notice, the set looks a little different. I'm literally in a different room. It may sound a little more echoey right now. I got to put on some soundproofing. Got to work with the lighting. Yes, I just took a shower. I'm sorry. I decided to take a shower before the only time of the day I had time to actually shower. But we're going to be talking about Nintendo. This is a temporary set, just for the record. In a couple months, it'll probably be the official, final, legitimate set that will look better than anything that we've ever seen on the channel before. But whatever. Anyways, today we're talking about Nintendo Switch 2. Throughout last week, we got a lot of different reports and rumors and leaks, and Mike has talked a lot about it. I talked a bit about it myself, and we're gonna pull our thoughts together on this, and trying to come to some sort of conclusive overall. We don't have to. We can disagree, but maybe we won't. Maybe we'll both have a pretty good idea of what's gonna happen this year, maybe, or next year. We're gonna be talking about all of this Switch 2 stuff that's been going on this last week. We're going to be jumping into some typical Tears of the Kingdom theorizing, as we always do, so we will be discussing that, but also I think we might be not too far off from an official Zelda Tears of the Kingdom announcement soon too, but we'll touch on that later into the show. And we're also going to speak a bit on Metroid Prime as well, because as you know, I'm a big Metroid fan. Mike knows I'm a big Metroid fan. And we're not gonna forget about Metroid. There's actually some good things going on with Metroid right now. Sales are potentially looking strong, so we're gonna touch on that as well, and maybe go over our sales expectations for Prime Remastered. But that is the general plan for the evening. But before we jump into things, how you doing, Mike?
Good. Doing good. Doing great.
Yeah. Can you guys hear him? Let me know if you guys can hear him well. By the way, I want to make sure that he is audible.
I gave him my mic right here, right in front of me, like this.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Thing 1 through 3. So I'm doing great. I completed Tears of the Kingdom. I keep saying Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild. A couple of days.
What's that in the background? Is that Metroid? Or is that Tears? Oh, okay. All right. I see the hexagons. Either that, or there are some honeycombs in Tears of the Kingdom.
yeah. I completed. Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
Then I moved on to my favorite Mario game on March, because this is Mario month, March, right? So I started playing Bowser's Fury. That's my favorite all time right now. My top Mario game. And I feel like Bowser's Fury is just a demo for whatever they're gonna do with Mario in the future.
Oh, I love Bowser's Fury. Yeah.
I played about 3 games already. I can't ever get the 120 cat shine, just because there comes a point in the game
Mm.
where Bowser doesn't go away. The Fury is always there.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
tough.
very different. But it feels like it's a constant boss battle, which is awesome. You know?
Love it.
So I passed that and I say, you know what? I still got some time in the month. Let me go ahead and try to beat Metroid before Tears of the Kingdom comes up. You know, so it's not next month. We still got March and
Yeah.
April. So
Although we might be playing it in a couple weeks, though.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
I'll try to beat Metroid before we leave up for PAX, because I know after that it's gonna be just content about
It's gonna be hectic. Yeah.
on whenever it's up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's what I've been doing so far. Everything good.
That's awesome.
Ready for what's next?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let me address a question from Megaton Menace who added me. Megaton Menace asks, why 242.5 and not 243? So as some of you may have noticed, the podcast is titled 242.5 as opposed to 243, and this is a little bit of me having a little bit of fun with the situation regarding last week and Mike's power going out. So, but also Brandon not being available either. So let me fully explain what happened. So last week we were gonna do podcast 242, and I was really excited because that's when we saw like that initial Switch 2 leak, right? So that's when we the conversation really started. And Mike. By the way, go to Mike's channel if you haven't already. It's linked in the description below. One of the things that Mike talks most about is about potential like Switch hardware leaks and rumors. Like that is a common. He talks about it more than me, right? So definitely, if you're into that or just Nintendo news in general, check him out for sure. But because of that though, I was really excited to kind of like dive headfirst into it Monday, right? But Brandon had told me that he wasn't gonna be available, but I was like, oh well, Mike's coming. I don't need to get another person. It's fine. So I didn't ask anyone ahead of time. I was like, yeah, Mike and me can do a show. Like a one-on-one would actually be pretty cool. So awesome. But then Mike's power went out. So his power went out right before the show was gonna go live. So I didn't have time to rebrand or change the thumbnail and make it just like a Q&A. So I was just like, oh well, it's called the podcast, but it's just me. So I edited the title. If you go back to my lives, you'll see that the podcast from last week, it says not podcast 242. So this week Mike is back now. We got more Nintendo Switch 2 leaks to discuss. So the story is actually gonna be a bit more rich than it would have been last time. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise that it didn't happen, because now we're gonna have a little bit more of an in-depth conversation where we actually kind of thought more about this situation and gotten more information. But basically, this podcast is kind of like a sequel to the Not podcast last Monday. So hence why I'm calling it podcast 242.5. So it's pairs. You have Not podcast 242 and you have podcast 242.5. Is that messaging confusing? It is, but it's fine. Maybe.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could take the podcast out of the title. I think people would still be like, would know, hey, he goes live every Monday night, talk about Nintendo stuff. So there is live discussion happening right now. I see we got about 80-ish people watching, which is pretty good. Thank you guys for coming by. If you could like the stream, though, that would be super helpful. I see we got about 80-ish people watching, but less than 20 likes. So if we could get that number closer, that would be super helpful so more people can come and watch the show. And yes, apologies if the lighting is awkward, the set is awkward. As I said earlier, I'm in the middle of a moving process. This is going to be a temporary set while I'm looking for a new place. I'm staying with some family right now. I was staying with some family beforehand, but anyways, lots of changes going on. Good things, just, it's a process. But, yeah. Let me check in with, look through the chat here, and then we'll get into the topics. Hey, see Nintendo Gaming, Charles Shadell, as well as Geek Apprentice, Emilio Martinez, hello. Having Hope, hello. Tyler Bakia, hello. Nintendo Mania, hello. Joycey J, hello there. Thank you for modding, Joycey. Oh. Having Hope loves your shirt, Mike. That Baby Yoda shirt you got there.
Thank you. Look, I'm bringing the tracks too.
I heard something.
Background music.
There you go.
From the Legend of Zelda Lo-Fi.
There we go. Elemental Hero, Shao, Link, Dragon, Wolf King. How you doing? Nintendo Gaming is saying Nintendo Switch will launch in late 2024. Maybe, but also maybe not. And we'll get into that tonight. We're gonna go. We don't know for a fact, right? Just for the record, but I think once we pull in all of our thoughts, we'll have a pretty good window. I think. AB James, why'd you retract your message? I was literally about to read it. I thought you were gonna ask me about like a Zelda theory. I was like, I was ready to go in. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna go through the chat just so we can get to the topic soon. All right, so guy you don't know, Adamy, hey there. I just got Breath of the Wild today. I figured that if I'm ever going to experience the game, now is a pretty good time to do so. Absolutely, this is the time. This is the time. Go for it. Yeah. All right, AB James, the River Devil. It seems nobody likes Zelda 2. Huh. Well, you said earlier. AB James, it seems Epona will be in Tears of the Kingdom from the onset and not DLC like in Breath of the Wild. Link is shown riding her in the last trailer. I think we see a couple shots where we see Link riding a horse that has like the white hair, the mane, and the orangish body, which that is the Epona colors. So, I mean, if it's not Epona, it's like it's Epona, right? Like Epona has existed in different Zelda games, in different timelines. It's obviously a different Epona because it's not like a single Epona horse is going to live for hundreds of years. But yeah, I think it is probably a Epona, or they just did that for show. But I think. I don't think it's just for show. What do you think, Mike? Do you think that's just going to be an amiibo horse that they show in the trailer, or do you think that is a horse you get naturally in the game?
No, I think this time around, I think it's going to be more natural to the game, to Tears of the Kingdom, since it's shown in the trailer and Link is kind of in the middle of some type of action in the game. I think it's more geared to the game. There might be things you might need a horse from, and the opponent's going to be there for Link there.
And now, my question is, though, it clearly looks like Epona. Like, that's obviously what they're putting a nod towards. But when we actually play the game, is there going to be an event where we get specifically Epona? Or is it just going to be a horse that looks like Epona, and we can name it Epona? You
could probably name it, yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Right. Name it but, like, what if we decide to name it Charlie instead? Then it's not Epona. It's just, it's Charlie that looks like Epona.
Yeah. I think it's meant to look like Epona. I mean, in the spirit of Epona, I guess. Just
What I hope is that it's actually Epona. Maybe you can still give it whatever name you want, but maybe there's like a specific quest that you have to do to get this special horse. Because there was actually a few quests to get a few special horses in Breath of the Wild. There was the giant horse, and then there was the royal horse. So. If they can have a quest to acquire this horse, and there's something about the quest that hints at it being, having the lineage of Epona, that's good enough for me. And then if you want to name it Epona, sure. If you want to name it Charlie or Billiamsworth or Stoneworth or Bokoblin, you can do that. You cannot name it Ed though. That's one option. It's not allowed. Yeah.
Mr. Ed.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember my horse names. I'll have to look them up later.
I always choose Bob. I got Bob.
I think I got Bob. Oh, I remembered one. I got Sam. Like from Lord of the Rings. Sam Ganji. Yeah.
What, is that a horse in Lord of the Rings?
No, he's a hobbit.
Oh, he's a hobbit. Okay.
You know Frodo's best friend?
Yeah.
I was like, Sam. Especially, it gets upsetting when he falls down a cliff, though.
Oh yeah, I like the Hobbit a little more than I like Lord of the Rings for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoyed it more.
Did you read the books or did you just watch the movies?
Oh, just the movies. The movies.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings is better, but 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 I do see where you're coming from though, because I think The Hobbit maybe it's a little bit more streamlined, if that makes
I think,
sense.
yeah, because it's newer. It's
Yeah,
newer. The animation was awesome when it comes to the dragon.
yeah,
You know,
Smaug is beautiful. Yeah,
yeah. So I
yeah,
think that's probably
yeah.
why I liked it.
I
But
also like the dwarf song. Love the
yeah,
dwarf song. I've sung it. It's great. I don't remember the lyrics. Like I gotta look at the lyrics, but I will sing that song. Love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
They said in the chat, I think is DR. Let me see if I can get that. PRDXLDRM. Maybe Link does have an opponent by the time we encounter Link, because some time has passed by. So I mean that's a
Right.
good point.
Yeah. I mean, I speculate that it's been at least 2 months.
Wait, that's not Epona that they are kind of holding on in the caverns, right? There, it's not her. We didn't
Wait,
really realize it was her.
wait. What do you mean? What? They're holding a horse?
Yeah, don't they have a horse
Where?
in the trailer?
The latest trailer, the Link is riding a horse, or you're talking about something else?
Yeah, Link.
Yeah, he's riding.
Is Zelda and Link holding a horse, or this is just me? I feel like I saw like a horse somewhere. You know when they're traveling in the caverns?
Okay, so you're talking about the first trailer. They are riding an animal, but it is not a horse. It's some sort of it's some sort of buffalo we've never seen before.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the newest trailer, Link is riding a horse that looks like Epona.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Oh, got a super chat here from Taker610. Thank you very much for the super chat, Taker. Taker asks, Mike, what does your gut say on Zelda OLED reveal? This is a question for you, bud.
Yeah, it's real. It's I think it's 100% real. I think we'll see it in April, because that's when we're gonna hit full-fledged Tears of the Kingdom promotion. So we're gonna get hopefully a treehouse and that Zelda OLED reveal for April. And I think it's gonna be available to buy in April as well. Like they'll announce it at the beginning of the month, and it's gonna come out maybe a week before, because normally OLED models, they come out before the actual game
by a couple weeks.
Yeah, so I don't really rule out that we probably will see maybe towards the end of March, beginning of April, the announcement for the OLED.
Yeah. So I put out a video a couple days before that GameStop leak for the Mario OLED. Or the Mario Switch. People thought that was gonna be for the Tears of the Kingdom one, but it was just for the Mario one. And I don't remember what I predicted. But I remember taking a look at like the different dates for the OLEDs, and I was like, okay, they usually come out 2 weeks beforehand. But with how tight things seem this time around, I also came to the same conclusion that it's probably I think it either I think it's gonna come out maybe the same day as the system. So
you think they do that? You think the same day, same exact day?
Yeah, I kind of hope not, just because I kind of wanted it sooner. But I think maybe, yeah. But I don't know why. I have to go back and I put down notes and stuff, but I think I just decided to go for a guess. And I guessed I wanted an announcement March 15th.
Okay.
I think I guessed a March 15th announcement for release.
Was that before the Mario thing, or after?
Before. It was before.
Because the Mario thing continues up all the way up to the 27th.
Yeah. So yeah, I made that prediction before the Mario thing happened. Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I mean, how long do we have to wait?
I would say after that week of the 27th, because the 27th is a Monday. That's when the supposed Mario Day or Mario Month, right, like they're calling it, because we in April we're still getting the Mario movie on the 5th that following week. You know?
Yeah.
So there's Nintendo has it's packed. I don't even know when. Like right now, just bringing up the Mario movie, I don't know when. If they announce a Tears of the Kingdom OLED, maybe they'll do the direct for Tears of the Kingdom, or these, and they'll announce everything together. And then like you said, release it on the same day, just because how jam packed everything is together.
Yeah. And so the other thing is that I've speculated that we'll get a Zelda Direct before PAX. Because if there's going to be a playable demo, which we still don't know if there will be a playable demo, we're really just like hoping. I mean, I think it does make sense for there to be one. But if there's going to be a playable demo, I think Nintendo has to have a presentation about the game first. Now, I mean, I say that, right? I'm making that assumption. Nintendo could put a playable demo and not say squat, just announce that there'll be a playable demo. And it'll probably still be fine. But just the way they usually have handled it, there's usually something. Like, we haven't had that moment where Eiji Aonuma comes out on the stage and says, hey, what'd you think of that? What do you think of Link's new hand? What do you think of Ganondorf's voice? What do you think? Like, there's no conversation that we've had with Eiji Aonuma about Tears of the Kingdom, except, I'm sorry, wait longer for more details. I kind of want to have that moment. So maybe it doesn't even have to be a direct. Maybe it's like a trailer that comes out like right before, like an overview trailer or something. But basically, I'm personally expecting some sort of announcement before PAX, which is like a week before the end of the month. So about 2 weeks from now, I'm expecting some sort of announcement about Tears of the Kingdom that gives us more information going into that demo that will hopefully play at PAX. And if there's a direct, that is a perfect time to announce the OLED.
I think so. Yeah.
But I mean, what do you think? Do you think we're gonna get a Zelda Direct or no?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think it needs it. I don't think it needs a direct. I think it needs a treehouse. Because what would they do in the direct besides talk about the game? No, I mean, we basically know what the game is already about. We know the story. You know, it's not that we don't know the story. There's a lot within the game that we still need to discover, and I feel like we have enough information for us to be able to enjoy that and discover within the game. Ganon comes back. He takes over. He sends out his minions to destroy Hyrule, right? Link has to recover the tears in order to try to repair the sword, in order to try to either imprison Ganon again or defeat him. You know, so there's already a storyline that we know.
That's something we surmise, but they haven't spelled it out for us, right? Like, typically, like, you know, like with Xenoblade Splatoon, like a lot of the details they'll say in the direct, well, things that we kind of figured already, but they'll actually like confirm, right? Like, they haven't confirmed underground exploration yet. We're like 100% sure that it's going to be there because of the footage, but they haven't like told us. There could be a moment like, hey, so this is underground exploration. This is where you interact with Zelda, or this is where you collect souls, or what you know, like. And then they could also have moments like, oh, so these are kind of like shrines, except they work a little bit differently. Oh, what's that in the background? Could that be a bigger dungeon? Play the game to find out. You know, like stuff like that. I don't know. I get what you mean, though. Like, we don't necessarily need a direct. Like, if you think about Breath of the Wild, like, they gave us a Great Plateau. We had some trailers, and that was it.
Yeah. But that's the story, though. Ganon is back. Probably stronger than ever, you know? And the Master Sword has been destroyed. The weapon of light that can defeat Ganon, it's destroyed. So Link needs to repair it to defeat Ganon. So that's the gist of the story, I guess. I mean, we don't know a lot details. We know they get separated. Zelda and Link get separated. Does Zelda lose her life? We don't know. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's just in prison somewhere. You know,
maybe she's on vacation.
Maybe.
Right.
I'm not. We see again a version of Zelda that we see at the end of Breath of the Wild when she's dressed in that white tunic that looks very nice, and she's glowing with her hair glowing as well. And even though we don't see Zelda's face,
right? It might not be Zelda. It could be Charlie.
Who's Charlie?
The horse.
Charlie, like a woman?
I'm just messing around. No, it's our horse that fell down a cliff and has now been reborn as the goddess.
I'm like, is there something I'm missing? Like, what? Charlie. But anyway, I mean, that has to be Zelda, and if that's her. It's crazy because there's this clip where Link is going like this, right? Because he was holding Zelda's hand. Well, that hand, and he looks at it like this, kind of right?
Yeah.
And he realizes there that maybe Zelda's gone. Maybe she's ascended into her full glory of of goddess Hylia. Hylia. Halia. How do you pronounce it?
I wouldn't say Halia. I think the
It's
others were okay though. Yeah,
Hylia.
Hylia. Yeah, like hi Leah. Hi Leah. Hi Leah.
I'm gonna call her
Yeah.
Hylia from now on.
I'll also say that you know what's funny? Um I think that there are so many games with so many different names that
Yeah.
and with many with us never actually hearing how they should be pronounced, that I think it's kind of unfair to get mad at someone for pronouncing some things wrong.
Hylia. Hylia. But
I think Hylia is fine. That's how I say it. Hylia.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hylia. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't like in the chat they're saying I don't like that theory from that Zelda either. I don't think she
No.
dies. I think she just ascends. I think she just discovers her power because in Breath of the Wild she's not dead. She's just, I mean, she's just there controlling Ganon, holding Ganon
Yeah.
with the power all this time. We know at the end
Yeah.
that she becomes herself again, but I don't know. Like,
I think it's a fake out. I think them showing Zelda fall down a hole,
yeah,
I think it's a fake out. I don't think I don't think Zelda's like just gone. And
Yeah.
so from one respect you could argue, okay, that's them explaining how Zelda's not going to be around because you play as Link, you don't play as Zelda, right? So that's just them, oh, Zelda's lost, and that's Link's reason to explore Hyrule looking for her. It's like, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's that simple face value. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's a fake out. And the
it
reason
has to be.
yeah, like first off, well, I mean, there's actually several layers to this. So one, the Zelda team pays very much attention to what fans ask for. I'm not saying they give us everything we ask for, right? But they are cognizant of what we want and what we're talking about. And a conversation that's gone on for a very long time is playable Zelda. That's always been a thing. I remember when they showed the very first teaser for Breath of the Wild, back when it was Zelda U, and Link pulled off the hood. I never agreed with the point, but it was still a conversation that happened at the time. People were like, oh, that's Link is a girl, or that's Zelda or something. And while I thought they were all dead wrong on that, and it was just Link, and Link just has a little bit of a feminine look because that's how they make him intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
It would have demonstrated though that there's this desire to have Zelda have more of a role, right?
Yeah,
and there are interviews where Adrian has noted, oh, that's interesting. Like, they're aware that people want Zelda to have more of a role. And I think having Zelda always be the damsel in distress, that's played out. Now, they don't make Zelda a weak character. Zelda's not a weak character. But ultimately, Link's goal was to help save Zelda. Like, that was kind of his mission in Breath of the Wild, beyond just saving Hyrule. And yes, Zelda comes out and has some big plays, makes some big moves at the end. And yes, she was responsible for holding back, like, Ganon. Like, Zelda wasn't just there, right? She wasn't a sleeping princess. Like, she was fighting. But point is that she needed, she needed to be saved. Link saved her. This time around, Zelda's traveling alongside Link. They've taken the time to change her design. They've given her more of a sporty outfit, more of a sporty look. I think that's intentional. When they go back to the drawing board in terms of redesigning the character, they're thinking about different elements. And maybe it's as simple as, hey, the backstory for this game is that Link and Zelda are journeying together. But why would they tease us with showing Link and Zelda journeying together in the flashbacks in Breath of the Wild? At the end of Breath of the Wild, they're journeying together. And then before Tears of the Kingdom, they're also journeying together, to just not let us enjoy that journey at all. I don't know. I think that there's something. I'm not saying she's playable, but I think she's more involved.
I think you have a good point there because, I mean, we don't see it, and I don't think they're going to show us. Even when we play the demo, I'm not sure if they're going to show us. I think that when we play the demo, if there's a demo, we're going to be already playing in the game. We're going to be within the game already. We're not going to see any cutscenes or anything. Just play within the game starting point. if it's Link waking up, we're gonna be waking up in the demo as well and just playing and getting to know a little more. But it makes sense that because they're traveling together for a long period of time, maybe one of the cutscenes is they're training together. Link trains her, in the art of swords, with her sword, with the swords and weapons and bows and arrows. And
Zelda has used a sword in previous games. I don't thinking of this Zelda as a fighter. I think she's more of like more of a scholar. But
yeah,
we have seen Zelda use swords in the past.
Yeah, so maybe there was some type of training taking, between both of them. Hopefully they develop a relationship. You never know. Hopefully,
yeah.
Because hopefully this is the game we get to have Zelda and Link have some type of relationship that's deeper than any other game. Because I know in Skyward Sword, there was a lot of the flirting, right?
Yeah.
And apparently this game is like the sequel and prequel. Or there's like a whole bunch of like that loop where apparently there's one of the theories I was looking at. Oh yeah, this game is like the third game of the series, but it is also the game that comes before Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
because it's like a loop, and
yeah.
I mean that makes sense because there's Sky Islands now.
Sure.
So maybe this.
I'll tell you that. There's the Sky Islands, which harkens back to Skyward Sword, the first game of the timeline.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a goddess, Hylia, which there was before the events of Skyward Sword. And Ganon is looking more and more like Demise, the Demon King, with malevolent forces breaking free from the underworld, from the ground. We see Mouse exploding forth. So it looks more like a demonic army like Demise. We have the islands, we have maybe Hyla. So there are those elements that are definitely Skyward Sword-esque. I give you that. But I actually put out a theory video yesterday about Tears of the Kingdom, and I was analyzing the logo. And people have jumped to assume that the logo is an Ouroboros. An Ouroboros is a serpent. It could be a snake or a dragon. Sometimes it's also a dragon. Usually a snake though, where it's going in a circle eating its own tail. And the idea behind that is that because it's eating its own tail, it's destroying itself, but it's also eating and nurturing itself, right? Because when you eat, you nurture yourself. So it's a little bit of a contradictory, but what it's supposed to imply is eternity, an eternal cycle. So with what you're saying, you could maybe think, oh, okay, cycle, and we see it going in a circle. So maybe there is reason to think there's a loop idea. But I took it in a different direction. Because I looked at the logo and I was like, okay, yeah, it looks kind of like an Ouroboros, but it's not one snake or one dragon eating its tail. It's two dragons with their mouths closed, just rotating around each other. So I had a different theory. I think you guys should go and watch the video, so I'm not going to tell you the whole theory, but I'm going to tell you this part that you might find interesting. So think about this. You're talking about romance, right? Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, there's a few layers here. So first layer. Because Ganondorf is returning, we're going back to 3 different personalities, right? Before, because it was Calamity Ganon, it wasn't a personality. So this idea of the Triforce didn't make as much sense. But in previous games, you had Ganondorf with the Triforce of Power, Link with the Triforce of Courage, and Zelda with the Triforce of Wisdom. That Triforce is missing throughout most of Breath of the Wild until the very end, where Zelda just kind of uses it all. Her powers dwindle. The Sky Islands come in. The Sky Islands are from the heavens. They're depicted in gold, kind of like the Sacred Realm. The Sacred Realm houses the Triforce. So we now have these 3 different personalities that are perfectly fit to each house the Triforce. We have this area that looks like the Sacred Realm that could house the Triforce. Okay? But there's another layer. You with me so far, Mike?
Yep.
Okay. We've seen there are dragons in the skies. Like it's not a debate, it's not speculation. We literally have a photo of a giant dragon, just like one of the dragons from Breath of the Wild, in the sky. And the dragons ascend into the heavens. That's what they do in Breath of the Wild. They go to the heavens. And those heavens are apparently the Sky Islands. So it kind of backs up this idea of the Sacred Realm, right?
Yeah, maybe the skies were always there. They're just not revealed. And
Sure,
some of the
sure.
yeah some of
Like how in Skyward Sword there's a cloud barrier. You can't
yeah
see the islands from the surface, but because of the sky barrier, but they are there. And the dragon suggested it was a sky barrier, so that's all it is, maybe.
Hmm.
But anyways, there are dragons. In Breath of the Wild, there are 3 divine dragons, each one representing one of the 3 springs: power, wisdom, courage, which also represent the 3 parts of Triforce.
Yeah.
So hear me out here. We have 2 dragons in the Ouroboros logo rotating around each other. What if one of those dragons is actually representing Link, the Triforce of Courage, like Farosh, and what if another is representing Nadra, Triforce of Wisdom, and actually also being Zelda? So Zelda and Link rotating around each other, journeying around, and maybe there's a romance there.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Just a teaser for my theory video that you guys should definitely check out after the stream. I want to check in with a few quick super chats here. Sorry to cut you off, buddy. First here, Michael, thank you for the $2 super chat. Michael says, you deserve 100K more subs, my guy. Salute. Thank you very much. I super appreciate that. Who knows? This might be a big year. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Jose MC with a $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Jose says, Metroid Prime Remastered. Ah! Yes! Metroid Prime Remastered. It is hyped. It is amazing. Prime Remastered is doing really, really well. I do want to talk about that in a bit, but thank you very much for the super chat. I am hyped for Metroid Prime. Guys, I see we have about 170 people watching, which is amazing. If you guys could like the stream, that would be super, super helpful. I see right now there's about 60 likes, which is pretty good, but if we can get to closer to 100 or so, that would be amazing. So please like the stream. It'd be super, super helpful. But what were you going to say, Mike, before I rudely cut you off to read my super chats?
No, we're good, bro. We're good. What was I gonna say? Was it to have to do with the love thingy, or was it supposed to do with the? It's hard to talk about the topic when you have seen official stuff on the subject that has to do with Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil.
You guys saw the art book, and I saw another piece of information related to Tears of the Kingdom.
You talked about it in one of your videos.
I did, and I took it down just because it was causing too much controversy. I'm like, you know what? Okay. Let people find out when the movie comes out.
Yeah, because people weren't believing you.
Yeah. So they'll find out when the game comes out. But then I also felt really bad because I'm not a leak channel. I'm not a leaker myself. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm actually kind of violating Nintendo in a way, bringing this information out beforehand.
Yeah.
So I decided to take it down for my own personal conscience, and because I want to. You know, my channel is a news, family-oriented channel. It has nothing to do with leaks or stuff like that. I do talk about leaks when they happen in the news, but I don't do them myself. I don't bring them up myself, and then so that's down. That's not gonna happen.
And then that's why it was treated differently, because you weren't reporting someone else's news. You were the news.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm normally the for example, when it comes to patents, I've been reported on because I've discovered a whole bunch of patents, right? But that's different, right? That's different.
You're making a discovery of public information.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something that I'm violating or trying or ruining anybody's plans, and you know, and people wanted me to show the flyer, and of course, what would happen if I showed that flyer? Nintendo was gonna come after me, and then you know that's if I do something that Nintendo's gonna come after me for, that's something bad. And I don't want to do that on my channel because I want to be an example to others of how to do good journalism and not dirty journalism just because I want some views. So the video had around 7,000 views. I had a couple hundred subscribers, and I took it down. I didn't care if it was gonna keep growing or not, because to me it's more important for me to have my conscience clean and also do the right thing, you know, morally, speaking.
Sure.
So, but when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom, you were speaking of that relationship. My theory on that was, it made sense because Ganon is now in his pure form, right? Ganon is there, so he
Yeah.
is the third part of the Triforce that's there. Maybe because of this, could we find a true ending to the story? Just because we have now the full Triforce there, you know? Is there a way? Could there be a way that either Link or Zelda could get a hold of the Triforce and using the full Triforce, break the curse?
So you know what I like about this.
Yeah.
So I just told you about my theory about how Link and Zelda could be representing the dragons, right? And
Yeah.
how they're exploring the sacred realm that might house the
Mhm.
Triforce. What I
Yeah.
love about some Zelda theories is that when they kind of compound upon each other, where it's like a theory upon a theory that sort of
Yeah.
start to fit a puzzle and answer certain questions we have.
Mhm.
So, what if the idea behind all of this is true, and it's about Link and Zelda searching the sacred realm to
Mhm.
acquire a Triforce because they need it to stop Ganon? What if
Mhm.
this time Link and Zelda acquire the Triforce and use its power to eliminate Ganon? Not seal him away,
Eliminate.
eliminate him. Finally, like eliminate it for good. Now, would that mean that the spirit that hatred of demise, would that mean that that's gone forever? I mean, they could come up with a new villain that still has that hatred in the future. And also,
Yeah.
because of the way Zelda works, that doesn't mean they can't go back to Ganon from a different time. Because they could always go back to the past. Like that's always a possibility, you know? And heck, it could even be that maybe there will be a new Ganon, a new Gerudo that's born that has a different story, different take, but still becomes a villain. And maybe the next Zelda, you'll see that maybe how he starts off good, but maybe like this spirit of hatred possesses him, and then he becomes a villain. Like there's different ways they can go about it. How there could still be a villain and or even like a Ganon in the future, either by going back to the past, because there's infinite. There's what's interesting about the timeline is that no matter how far back in the past you go, there can still be a Zelda game that takes place there. And
Yeah.
and the same thing with the future. What's interesting is that in Skyward Sword, the oldest game in the timeline, there was still a story that happened beforehand, and you also see evidence of civilization beforehand to advanced technology civilization. And this is the oldest game. So in theory, they could go back millions of years and there could still be kind of like a Zelda game with an evil, and they can go into the future and there can be an evil. But if they
Mhm.
but maybe this time they can eliminate Ganon, and this Ganondorf is just gone in the future in Breath of the Wild, which won't mean too much if they have a Zelda game that's set in the past, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that they could do that finally.
Yeah. And maybe what if they do get the Triforce in their hands, and their wish is to restore Hyrule, all its people, all the basically all the champions that gave their lives, King Roam, everything. This just restore everything to the very beginning,
Mm.
and Ganon is there in body form before he even takes control of the is it in Ocarina of Time that he takes control of the Triforce?
Um,
What if we get a Spider Verse type of
Trying to
a
remember.
Spider-Man type of? What if we get a Spider-Man type of Zelda game, where literally we meet other links, because in order to defeat Ganon, true Ganon, we can go back in time before he even got a hold of the Triforce of power.
I have to double check because the thing is, when Link unlocks the Master Sword, I think he obtains access to the Sacred Realm. So maybe it is implied that he kind of gets the Triforce. He at
Yeah.
least has the Triforce of power, and he becomes Ganondorf becomes Ganon in Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
So that beast with like the tridents,
Yeah.
that's when he becomes Ganon. So you know how all the 2D games have like a pig-like demon boss?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Ganon. So the implication, so with Ocarina of Time, um, there's 3 timeline splits. The one
Hmm.
timeline split where Link is defeated, that
Yeah.
Ganon that defeats him, that's the same Ganon for all the future Zelda games in the 2D space.
Yeah. That'd be cool if they found a way to literally travel all 3 timelines in this game, just to erase Ganon from all timelines together,
Yeah,
and to go back to the very beginning and restore everything
yeah.
to its
Some people
full
have
full.
talked about how maybe like the timelines unify. My theory is that it's slightly like that, but it's a little different. My idea is that it's so far into the timeline that
Yeah,
each timeline becomes the same. Because like basically like it's almost like there's like destiny. Like it is destined that eventually Rito will evolve, right? It is destiny that Lionel's will appear. It is destiny that the Kokiri will become Koroks. Like
hmm
these different things happen in different timelines,
yeah,
from different Zelda games. But my idea is that if you go far enough into the future in each one, all of them come to pass.
yeah,
In other
yeah,
words, it becomes Breath of the Wild in each timeline, just because Breath of the Wild is like the destiny of each timeline for Hyrule. You just got to go far enough down the timeline, it becomes Breath of the Wild. So the implication being there is that the story we play, it's the same regardless of timeline.
yeah. So in
So
a way,
it's yeah,
it's like unifying the timelines is just
yeah,
creating this.
yeah. It's just kind of like explaining how it happens, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but man, this
Go on.
I realize that this game is huge,
Yeah,
and the its ending has to be even bigger than Breath of the Wild. They need to, I mean, the ending has to be massive. They have to go all out when it comes to this game, unless there's another game after this one. I mean,
I don't
because
think so.
why would they build this entire engine, this entire map, and they could reuse it again. They could just build on top of that and continue building upon it.
I mean, they're
They
gonna
could,
build upon it, but it's gonna probably have like a different Link, a different Zelda, a different art style. You know,
Mhm.
like I think Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are still technically on the same engine, but the two
Yeah,
totally different games, two totally different timelines, different characters. I think they're just gonna move ahead after this. I mean, think about it. We also had Age of Calamity, which isn't a
yeah,
Zelda game, but it used those characters again. It was another story with those characters. So we,
yeah.
we have had we've had
Isn't it
multiple games of this already.
isn't it a prequel to Breath of the Wild?
Yes, kind of.
So it's a prequel because it's before. It's
Yeah,
actually 100 before,
it is.
right?
It's a prequel. Yeah, I mean, it's about it. It takes place. It
100
gets
years.
it lets you experience the battle that happened beforehand.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now,
yeah.
I mean, it's a little. There's some differences, but effectively, yeah, it tells you a story beforehand. My point is that you could already argue that if you account for Age of Calamity from a story perspective, we already have a trilogy, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, the thing is, well, the reason why I'm like not stating it's 100% a prequel is because like Age of Calamity seems like, it's like a different timeline almost. Like you get to experience what happens in the past, but there's a certain point where it goes in a different direction
hmm
because we know how it ends because of Breath of the Wild. It ends
Yeah.
differently in Age of Calamity, so
Okay.
that's why it's like not 100% prequel, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's events that happen in the past. It just creates like a different timeline.
hmm
And point is though, it's still a story that happens in the past. We have
hmm
Breath of the Wild story. Now we have the Tears of the Kingdom story. I don't think we need a fourth story afterwards. They've never done that before. I
Yeah.
think you move on to a new style after this. Still open air. They'll still like evolve that gameplay, but it'll be like a new set of characters. So I do agree with you. I think Tears of the Kingdom is gonna be like a bigger. It's gonna have a bigger, more climactic, satisfying end.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
feel like with Breath of the Wild, I know they said that they had so many DLC ideas that became a game, but honestly, I think before the game was even out, they already knew they were gonna do more. I
hmm
felt like there's already a lot of signs pointing to that. Like you look at the diary where Zelda talks about how there's this person she saw in her dream. We never see that person in Breath of the
hmm
Wild. Like, what's that
Yeah.
about? The fact that we don't see the Triforce pieces for Link or Zelda, like, why is that? How they don't really explain what's going on with the actual Triforce itself.
hmm
How all this stuff is kind of happening with Ganon under the castle,
hmm
and it turns out Calamity Ganon is just like like that fits too well. Like they had a source for Calamity Ganon, So it's just kind of interesting how that's all, how it's all kind of happened. It doesn't feel like a retcon. You know what I mean? Like if you guys don't know what a retcon is, let me explain very briefly. A retcon is basically when you have a story, it can be in a game, comic book, movie series, what have you, where they had a certain intent with certain elements in the story, but then further down the story, they add something else to the story that kind of changed. It doesn't necessarily reverse what happened, but it changes the intent by what happened in the past, if that makes sense. They kind of like a plot convenience. For example, I believe technically Darth Vader, this is not a spoiler, Darth Vader wasn't originally intended to be Luke's father. They added that detail later. So that's a retcon.
What?
Yeah. As Belief789 says, retcon equals retroactive continuity. So they change the continuity retroactively.
It's what they're doing with DC now. DC Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything's gonna be connected. Apparently, everything. TV shows, animated series, movies and theaters, games are gonna be directly connected to the movies.
Yeah.
And if you see a sequel to that movie and you didn't play the game, you're not gonna understand what happened. It's gonna be crazy. Like
they're basically just trying to follow the Marvel formula.
Actually, they're making it even. They're learning from the Marvel formula.
But they're going because the Marvel's just the movies and the shows. But
the shows,
they're gonna do video games too.
They do video games. They're gonna do comics. They're gonna do animated series. That's gonna be part of.
And just for the Marvel does games too, but the games don't share the story with the movies. Yeah, they're kind of like I don't think. The thing is, I mean, there's multiple timelines in DC and Marvel. There's so many different comic lines. But anyway, kind of going back to the point though, it doesn't. We've established that what a retcon is. I don't feel like Ganondorf being under Hyrule is a retcon. That doesn't feel like a retcon to me. It doesn't feel like, oh, what did we just put him under for the sequel? Like, I feel like they kind of already had that established beforehand. And I'll throw out another detail at you guys. The Sheikah technology, it depicts constellations. We're going pretty high up in Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, just saying. Yeah. And actually, another thing, the Zonai ruins. They have so much Zonai ruins that are mysterious. They introduced this whole other culture that disappeared, and we don't know why. We just know that they were magic users and they disappeared randomly. Mm-hmm. And they have all these ruins there. And they said that if you read Creating a Champ, they say that they put that there to create an air of mystery, an aura of mystery, which may be, but it also doesn't feel like a retcon if all this sky stuff we're seeing is Zonai technology or Zonai ruins. Like, it doesn't feel like a retcon. It all feels like a natural progression for the game, or in the story, I mean. Yeah.
Makes sense. The thing is that did they know that Ganon was down there the entire time, or are they just discovering that Ganon is there? When you
say they, do you mean the developers, or the?
No, not the developers.
Oh, I don't know. He just appeared in the code.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
that's kind of scary.
They I know at the end of Breath of the Wild, Zelda says, "Oh, look, there seems to be a problem with this divine beast."
With Varuta, yeah.
So it looks like the problems begin there. Yeah. And so the Sheikah technology starts to fail, and then it comes to a point where everything fails at the same time. So they're gonna look for the source of where.
Yeah, I think that is my thought too. I agree with you. At least that's what I feel. That's what it's kind of implied, is that there's something wrong with the Sheikah technology. We know the Sheikah technology is underground, so maybe they go underground to find out what's going on. And when they do, they find Ganondorf.
It just reminds me of what Zelda said right when you go into the castle to fight Ganon.
Yeah.
She says, "I'm sorry, I can't anymore. I can't hold him back anymore." And then it lets go, and he becomes loose and everything. So I feel like this thing happens with the power. It's holding on to Ganon, but it comes to a point where he's too powerful, and he actually breaks through. That could make him break through, or the fact that Link and Zelda went down there, and then a lot of things
Yeah,
happen, and then
it
Hand is forced to let go in order to grab
yeah
Link or Zelda.
yeah. I made a video kind of talking about the opening sequence a few
Yeah,
weeks ago, and I touched on that. Like I kind of just speculated on it. I kind of want to find out like what actually caused him to break free. Like what was the change? Was it Zelda tripping over a rock, or was it
yeah.
like you know how kind of like in movies, right? Like when you don't want to make a noise because you don't want the murderer to find out that you're there or something like that. Or like you have this group of kids who are exploring an ancient cave or ruin, and you're going to have that one dope that presses that one booby trap that unlocks everything. Like, what if Link and Zelda just accidentally step on something and that unlocks Ganondorf? Like, I would feel pretty guilty because he causes a lot of damage for making that one mistake. Oh, I can't hear. Oh, it cut out for a second. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I don't know why it just like muted you.
Yeah, it looks like Discord keeps telling me, giving me like a microphone message, and I keep saying stop, stop, stop. But I guess I'm down. But I'm guessing he was just sleeping peacefully, and they just woke him up, man. They just interrupted his slumber. Oh, or Ganon, he was fine until he actually sensed the power of the Triforce, the two other Triforce. I couldn't resist, and he just unleashed and I mean I still think it's Link and Zelda's fault that he's loose by going down there trying to figure out.
I mean, in fairness to them, it's kind of like I mean they saved Hyrule, so if Hyrule's doomed because of them, as long as they try again, I you know what I mean? Like at least it wasn't like someone else that did it who didn't try to save Hyrule, because that would make them feel bad. Yeah.
It was me. I was opening my AirPods.
Oh.
And then my computer tried to switch microphones from the AirPods.
No, that explains it. That explains it.
Yeah.
All right. Let me read a couple super chats, a couple ads here, and then we'll jump into the Switch 2 talk. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. So Nishcook Pops with a $2 super chat says, why is Ganondorf back after dying at Twilight Princess Wind Waker? It's a fantastic question. One possibility is simply that this is a new reincarnation of Ganondorf. In Breath of the Wild, they explain, I think, like every 100 years, one male Gerudo is born. And they imply that the Calamity Ganon is from a Gerudo. Now, you could also argue this supports the idea that he is the Ganon from Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. All the same person, by the way, just different timelines. So it's tough to say for sure if this Ganon is a reincarnation or not. But one answer to your question, though, is if he's a reincarnation, it's just a new Ganondorf. But since it's so far into the future of Breath of the Wild, there have been many, many times he's tried to take over Hyrule and failed. And that's it. It's just a new Ganondorf who has that history. But it also could be the Ganondorf from Twilight Princess. There's something going on with his like torso chest area. Ganondorf had this scar on his chest from the attempted they tried to kill him, put him to death. So maybe that's where the malice is coming from. So yeah, maybe it looked like he died at the end of Twilight Princess, but he didn't actually die. He comes back to life somehow, or maybe he was a corpse, and the corpse we see in Tears of the Kingdom, that's him. He died. They put him in a chamber somewhere, and because there is malice coming out of him to try and like contain it, and that corpse is. That's it. Like, he is dead. Like, Ganondorf, here's something to consider. Like, that's a mummy, right? Like, typically mummies are dead, and they come back to life, or they're, like, re-dead or something. So, maybe Ganondorf may have died in Twilight Princess, may have died in Wind Waker. The Ganon we're seeing in Tears of the Kingdom is a zombie. So, like,
Yeah, yeah.
he was already dead. Or
They could,
almost
yeah,
dead.
and there could be a chance that this Ganon that they find in Tears of the Kingdom is the original Ganon, and decomposed because his body is decomposed, super old, and just all
Yeah.
bony and stuff. And he's been held. Maybe this is the root of all of evil, right? Right there.
Yeah.
And this is the one way that this could actually finish if this was the true form of Ganon with malice and that curse, like that what is it, the curse of evil or something like that, of hatred.
Yeah, curse of hatred.
Yeah, so maybe this is this is all those Ganons put together as in there, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it this one Ganon, and he's basically just reborn over time and time again?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because technically we have 2 Ganondorfs in the entire timeline for Zelda. And so there's one Ganondorf we see in the different games. And then there's a second Ganondorf that we see, and I want to in one of the Four Swords games, and he's like a reincarnation, like a straight up just reincarnation. However, that the evil Ganondorf spirit from the other ones, from Ocarina of Time, Twilight, Wind Waker, like he still appears in that Four Swords game.
Okay.
And then but the reason it gets confusing though is because there's also Ganon, right? Ganondorf becomes Ganon, and he is continually resurrected and brought back in the different 2D Zelda games. So he comes back. Like, resurrection is actually not that crazy for Ganon. Like, so Ganon can be murdered or sealed away. Just bring him back. He's not a normal being. He's basically a demon. He's become a demon. He's no longer just a person, and his existence is kind of beyond just like the normal plane of existence. Like, so this idea that he can be summoned back with like some candles and black magic, like that's what some Zelda games are about, basically.
Yeah, you can't kill a spirit. It'll just become a spirit again and is inhabited with the body and continue.
Yeah. So I think it is probably it doesn't really matter because I think Ganondorf becomes he becomes something beyond just the physical form, and even if it's a reincarnation or not, that mind is the original Ganondorf. Like the thought process, the spirit is the original Ganondorf. That's what I think. Yeah. So I got another super chat here from Elatrolod. Thank you very much for the super chat. Elatrolod says Tears of the Kingdom won't be a sequel. It'll be history repeating.
I like Joyce's The Legend of Ganon Too Mad to Die.
There you go. He's too mad to die. Yeah. I get what you're saying. We kind of touched on it earlier, Elatrolod, how like there's a theory about like a repeating cycle.
Listen, now I get it. I understand now. And I think I understand this now. Why is it that people react the way some people, not everybody, react the way they do to theories and leaks about Zelda? It's the spirit of hatred. They're possessed by. What is this in there?
It's Ganon.
The Ganon, right? So Ganon's kind of coming over to our world, getting all upset.
I honestly, I think it's tough. Especially like if it's not when you try to jump into, because you don't do Zelda theories, right? So then you start, and then some people.
I don't do Zelda theories. I know of Zelda.
Yeah.
I have my opinions, so that's what I do. Basically, I give my opinions on certain things.
Yeah.
And every video I do, I say, look, this is the thing. To me, some people take Zelda lore and they create a toxic culture out of it. Some people take Zelda lore and they create discussions and interesting, like you and like Nate and like Josie. They create some great conversations and just that are welcoming to others who don't know as much as as other people do. Some people take that lore to Bible and say, if you don't know something, if you get something right, guess what? Curse you for getting that wrong. Curse you for trying to talk about my game where you have no clue what color is Link's left shoe. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean. People take it that much, and to be honest, as to a point, it was actually making me like reject the actual game because of it. You know, I had to step back and say, you know what? It's not the game. It's not the good people who love this franchise, because you know I'm learning to love and I'm growing to love it more and more. I just love it's the best story ever told in the world of Nintendo. When it comes to a story, when it comes to what you call lore, it's the best story.
Xenoblade fans are crying right now. They're like, no.
You know, Xenoblade has been around as much as Zelda has. You know,
Yeah.
we're talking
Yeah,
in the
Zelda
80s.
has a long, rich history.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
now
saying.
you can make an
it's a great-
argument for Xenoblade because it has like the prior like the Xenosaga and stuff, but
yeah, I play all those games,
neither have I.
but
Yeah,
it's brand new compared to
right. Yeah,
Zelda. You know, so I am the type of Nintendo fan that I play a game, I love it, right? And
Yeah.
I move on. I move on and I find more things to play and love and move on. I understand those who love to get immersed into the Zelda lore and to every single little detail, and they make it sometimes their Bible, their daily Bible. They go and they have like this big giant leather book underneath their armpits, and they walk around with it, you know, and their Zelda lore, right?
yeah,
If you get it wrong, forget it. They're gonna curse you and then try to take the demons out of you or something. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I'm
It's
just
different.
the type of fan. I'm in it for the love of games, for the love of games,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
love of storytelling. So when I for some reason I have the bad luck that I can express myself and talk about a game that I'm learning to love, that I'm learning more and more from. I played Zelda 1. I played Zelda 2. I played A Link to the Past. But I just played the game for plain sake, you know?
Yeah.
For beating a game, rescuing the princess, moving on. Just like Super Mario Brothers. You play Mario 1.
But you missed out on the Zeldas between Link to the Past that released in 1991.
Yeah,
and
Link to the Past.
Breath of the
Yes.
Wild that released 2017. So there's like what, like 26 years of history there.
Yeah. And then once
more than that, 9 plus
yeah.
17.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, no, that's right. 26 years of history. Yeah.
And so I don't see it that way, because I don't look at the history as something that I need to really know specifically in order to enjoy the game. And I think Breath of the Wild just proved that, because Breath of the Wild is like it's like everything started over again from scratch. Link lost his mind and he has nothing. He went through the story, learning and recapturing his memories and just relearning everything that he lost. And that's why I love the game so much, because as a newcomer, I call myself a newcomer, but I played Zelda before. I'm just saying newcomer when it comes to getting into the lore of it now, getting into more into the story.
Sure.
I felt like I felt welcomed, right, by the story. Now when I put my thoughts out there are a lot of people out there, not a lot, but some people out there who can't hear the opinion of somebody who is just getting into the lore. They need to hear opinions from people who've been at it for years. Like Joycey told me today, and I like that about her. She said, I love to hear the opinions and thoughts of those who are just getting into the lore, like who are just learning about the story and getting captivated by it, you know? And that's where that's where I am, you know what I mean? I'm not the type that breaks down every single thing. I'm just there for the love of gaming. Yeah. I'm a dad, you know? And when I do my YouTube channels and I explain everything, I explain like I do to my kids, you know? Not, you know, the equations of break down this time. You know what? It's fun. Play the game. You're gonna love the story. You're gonna fall in love with the characters. You're gonna learn from it. You're gonna grow from it. Learn something from games because they teach you something. Don't just play to play. Learn, you know. And that's how it is, you know. That's how we go. And I think we have to move on to the next, to the Nintendo Switch 2 topic.
We got time.
But yeah, man, Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there. You know.
Sure,
Um,
sure. You know, I'm gonna
the
tell you. I'm gonna tell you a little story though. I'm gonna tell you a little story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So, guys, you got a story here. You know, I feel lucky. You know, we've been working at this for years, but the audience we have now is very different from the audience we had in the beginning. And my
Yeah.
very first Zelda theory video, and I at the time I thought I worked really hard and I spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it was about. I think I had this series called Mysteries in Breath of the Wild. So I would just like have an episode where I would just talk about something that we saw in Breath of the Wild, like wondering what it is. Like before we even knew what the divine beasts were, I'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what's that big creature climbing on Death Mountain? Is it moving?" People be like, "Oh no, that's just in your imagination. It's not moving." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I think it is." But anyways, so like there was like this little series I had, right? And I think one of, if not my first, like Zelda theory video that was about Breath of the Wild before it came out. I spent time on it. Video came out. I don't remember how many views it got. Not a lot. Not a lot of likes. Not a lot of comments. I think actually I only remember getting one comment. I got one comment, and I think the person said something along the lines of disliking because you're reading a script. And I was like, first off, I wasn't used to getting comments, right? And it was like it was the only comment I got, and I engaged the person. I was like, no, I wasn't reading a script. Well, you're lying. You were reading a script. I can tell. And I was getting upset. I was like, I know I didn't read a script because I didn't write a script. I absolutely didn't do that. But, you know, I was still learning how to kind of like, you know, talk on YouTube. I knew how to talk, but like kind of obtaining more of that voice, right? Which is still something, you know, how I sound now probably won't be the same of how I speak 2 years from now, you know? But anyways, that was like really upsetting for several reasons. One, because I knew that there wasn't a script, so I was upset because she for sure thought I was lying, but I was like, no, I'm not lying. But two, also like, so what if I'm reading a script? Why is reading a script a bad thing, right? I guess the implication would be that you shouldn't sound like you're reading a script, maybe. Although I feel you can always tell when someone is reading a script. Like I always know when someone's reading a script. It's pretty obvious, but I don't think it means that it's bad. You know, although maybe you could argue that there are people who can do better because you can tell that they weren't reading. You know, you're not sure. But point is, like, it was just layers to this, and it was very upsetting. And it was like the only comment I got on that video, and I worked really hard on it. And the person thought I was doing things that weren't the case. You know, so it was frustrating. But you know, like over time, right? Like I still did them, and then I would get some comments like, "Oh, please keep doing this. When's the next one?" I'm like, "Oh, some people like this. Cool." You know, I just kept doing it. But yeah, I kind of remember, you know, that was like one of my first videos. And it was frustrating.
I think it's because now since Tears of the Kingdom is trending so much, it's crazy trending. The fans have grown so much. I think Breath of the Wild made a lot of fans more than any other game. You know, like for example, it got me into the actual game. I knew Zelda from the beginning, but being into like really into the game, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild did that for me. You know what I mean? Making me look forward to Tears of the Kingdom. And I played Breath of the Wild already, without lying, around 7 times already since the game came out. Like from the beginning to the end. And I think 100% the game about 3 of the 7 times. Everything else has just been more like discovery.
I've restarted Breath of the Wild many times, and I've played that. The thing is, the way you can play that game can be so different each time.
It has been completely different every
one
time.
File that I just use as a boss rush mode. Like I basically go to Hyrule Castle in just my underwear, and I try and beat the 4 divine beasts with like some sticks. I have not beaten. It's extremely hard. But what happens is I run out of resources. I don't have enough resources to defeat all the divine beasts. Like it's really challenging. And if you get hit once, you just die. So
have you beat the game in master mode yet?
I don't think so. No, I haven't gone around to beating it in master mode all the way.
Master mode is the weapons break faster. Okay, the enemies are stronger. It's like not only the enemies break stronger, but they regain their health.
Yeah, you have to beat them quickly. If you don't beat them quickly, you're gonna be stuck there and lose all your resources.
Yeah, and not only the enemies regain their health, but the bosses regain their health too.
Yeah.
Like it took me three tries to beat Ganon because I was taking too long, and he just gave his health went all the way back full to the very beginning.
It's like,
You know,
oh
so
crap. So
man,
what's funny for me, like in normal mode, you can kind of do the thing where you can run around to drop bombs behind you and let the
yeah,
bombs slowly kill an enemy.
yeah.
Problem is when you're trying to kill a Hinox and you have no other weapons except the bombs.
No, it refills.
Yeah, you can't kill it. You're gonna be there forever. It's an infinite loop. Yeah,
Yep.
it's tough. Like maybe if you do it fast enough, you might be able to get the job done, but you'll be there for hours.
Yeah,
If you mess up, if he steps on you once, if he smacks you once, and you have 3 hearts on Eventide Island because you're an idiot, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So you know, yeah.
I found a couple things easier to do one in master mode. Some things were just completely, man, crazy. Like some shrines, they broke me. Some shrines completely broke me in master mode because they become harder too. So I loved it because it gave me more of a challenge.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean it's exciting because maybe you think of other solutions. You come up with new ways to beat those dungeons.
Yeah, and I made sure to take a different route every time I was traveling somewhere.
Yeah,
You know, and not always use travel, or try to just go to a different shrine and just travel or teleport places. I try to travel as much as I can just so that I can get through the entire land to see what I missed. And man, I found a place where I saw that there was movement away ahead, but you couldn't get there because it's not part of the full map. Like, wait, is that Tears of the Kingdom up there? And I'm like,
there you go.
there was movement back there.
Yeah.
There was land. But it's fun, man. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. So if you have master mode, I recommend it. You not too much.
I'm gonna probably play through Breath of the Wild again soon. As soon as I also want to play Pikmin. There's a lot. So the thing is, I feel like if I don't play Pikmin now, once Tears of the Kingdom comes out, I won't play. I won't have a chance until Pikmin 4.
Yeah,
so
Tears of the Kingdom is gonna be a game for me for the rest of the year. I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm pretty sure I could probably beat Master Mode in a couple weeks, easy.
Yeah, it took me a couple weeks. Too.
Yeah. Wouldn't be that bad.
It did take me a couple weeks. Yeah.
It won't be that bad. The problem is that whenever I'm playing Breath of the Wild, because I've beaten it already, I'll eventually move on to something else that I haven't beaten, So
yeah.
But let me catch up with the chat real quick, and then let's jump into Switch 2. All right?
Yep, let's go.
All right, cool. So let's see here. The Megaton Manus. Would you rather date Samus or what? Or what? What's the or for? I didn't see or what? What I don't know. I mean, if Samus was a real person, I would be interested. Tall women do not. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm a giant, but I mean I'm 6'1", so I think she wouldn't be like too tall for me. She might be. Well, how tall is Samus? Samus is like at least like 6 feet. She might be like taller. She might be like 7 foot. Really? Samus height. She's a giant. 6'3". That would be tall, but I'd get used to it. She's strong, kind. Like, I don't see why I wouldn't be able to give her a shot. I would try. I'll go for it. She's a cool person. Debus. I like the idea that this will be the Great War from before Skyward Sword, but at the end of the timeline, triggering a time of Hence the Ouroboros. Yeah, it's a cool idea. I'll tell you, I personally don't. I'm not against a cyclical sort of event where things can kind of be cyclical. It's like, oh, it's like that event, but I want it to still be something that's still moving forward. I don't want it to be an endless loop. I want there always to be a new future. I personally don't like the idea of it just reversing the events where they'll have to deal with Demise and Ganon and all that stuff again, where it's just repeating the exact same history. I'm okay with maybe there being something to this idea of a cycle, and maybe like it's like kind of like that, but I also want it to be moving towards the future at the same time. That's just my take on it. Let's see here.
I keep saying I want to see a Metroid movie. I need to see a Metroid movie or a Metroid series.
Yeah.
It could be animated. It could be animated. It could be a movie, whatever. But I want to see a Metroid
Yeah.
like a.
Well, I think with the Metroid success as of late, we could at least argue like maybe like a short, like maybe
Mhm.
like a special, not like a big animated movie, but at least like maybe like a or one or two animated like special or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, they could do something like that, like anime or like a cartoon. Yeah.
There was. I'm not gonna talk about it, but there was a leak in the Mario movie
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
hints
Yeah. Yeah.
at, at some at some. I'm not gonna mention
Nintendo
who.
Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. There that hint on more than one spin-off, not just that Donkey Kong that everybody's been talking about.
Luigi's Mansion, Donkey Kong. I think those both make sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like if you look at the movie, you obviously go over to Luigi's Mansion. You go over Donkey Kong because you know they're in the movie,
Yeah.
but there are other characters in there from outside the Mario verse.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there was a leak from that, and Nintendo took it down.
Interesting.
And that's all I'm gonna say, because I'm excited about the movie. I just want to see who it is or who they are, because I'm convinced that Nintendo signed an
I think they need to do a Zelda. Like Zelda, I think okay, hear me out. What makes more sense? Even though yes, Animal Crossing sold more than Zelda.
Yeah.
What's a bigger deal though? A Zelda movie or an Animal Crossing movie?
Zelda movie for sure.
It's like not even close, right? Like just because one Animal Crossing game outsold, even though the best-selling Animal Crossing outsells the best-selling Zelda, what's gonna be a better movie? Also, Animal Crossing is like one game a generation. Zelda is a little bit more than that, right? So I would say that Zelda would probably be a bigger deal. Also, more people know, like, people who don't play a Zelda game would be willing to watch a Zelda movie. People who don't play Animal Crossing probably would not be willing to watch Animal Crossing movie. You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's as suited for a movie. I'm not saying like I think Animal Crossing could have like maybe like a Netflix like comedic series. Like I could imagine like like bite-sized 10 to 15-minute episodes of like Animal Crossing. Like I think that could be cool. Like that's what they could do for Animal Crossing. But yeah, I agree. So what if Princess Peach has like a little necklace? It's like a Triforce necklace or something like that. Or it's like, I got a princess in another. I have a friend that's a princess in another land or something. You
That's
know?
that's the thing.
Yeah,
You're actually hitting the nail because it's tied to that. It's tied to that. So there's a universe in there that's already connected that we are going to be exposed to in the Mario movie.
So I'll tell you, it's been long theorized that the Mushroom Kingdom and the Hyrule Kingdom are on the same planet.
Okay, let me tell you something. I wrote a story. Okay, it's called The Story of Princess Peach. I can tell you that what it's about, so you have an idea. But I feel like it can be very close to what they're gonna talk about in her backstory. You know how we don't have a backstory for Princess Peach? We don't know her parents. You know, Princess Peach as a kid, for something happens in the kingdom where she receives like a power. She receives a power, and the power is not hers personally.
This is a story you personally wrote.
Yeah.
Like a fanfic.
Yeah, fan story. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I already have somebody who was illustrating the story for a book, but I need that. I'm probably make it into an animation later on.
That's really.
But
cool.
I can tell you the gist of it. It's basically the story of Princess Peach and the kingdom, where she the parent, like one of the parents, her parent is unable to conceive a child, right? And she's sick, so they go over, they send people to find like to faraway lands, and eventually they come in contact with the Hylian. And this person hands them some ingredients and to cure the queen. And the queen, when they comes back, but the thing is that when that ingredient also produces a power, so when Princess Peach is born, everything around her becomes different. Like there are flowers that come up, and now they have some fire on it, like fire power. There are different things, elements, power ups. Basically, the power ups come to be,
Yeah.
and they to be because of Princess Peach. And no matter where she is, those power ups will blossom. The flowers will blossom, and this is why Bowser wants to capture her, marry her, because she has the power around her, and wherever she is, Bowser wants that power.
Interesting.
So
There's this one scene from the movie that shows Peach with the fire flower and the field of fire flowers.
Is she talking about how the power came? You know, and I'm like, man. And I know her parents die, and there's a little scene where Princess Peach's father says, "I'm gonna be with you forever. I'm never gonna let you go." And all of a sudden, he turns yellow and turns into this dust like this, and it shoots to the sky, and down fall a whole bunch of little stars, like those little power-up stars. And that's how they got the power from the power-up stars. Her parents died and turned themselves into some type of power to be with her always, and then she became the queen. She's still called Princess Peach because she didn't want to let go of her parents because they're still all around her. That's what she says in the story. But that's how it came to be. That's my back story for Peach because she doesn't have one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, maybe we'll see that in the movie.
Maybe. Yeah.
And
maybe.
In the story, Hyrule exists far, far away. In my story.
Okay. Listen. I would love it if Nintendo. I don't. You know, like sometimes I think people want Nintendo to stay totally unique. I think in reality, being unique is great, and you should still be that. But in order to be the best you can be, you have to be willing to also look at others and learn from others. So bring your own spin to things, be unique, but also, you know, try some good things that work well for others, right? Like I think just calling the next Nintendo Switch 2, same way how Nintendo does its numbers, I think honestly it would work out well for them. The same way I think that, hey, if you're going to have a cinematic universe, take a page from Marvel's book, just create this habit of having these post-credit scenes. Start doing it.
Didn't we get a rumor earlier? A rumor on Illumination working on the Legend of Zelda movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was actually my most watched video. It got to like 250,000 views.
It was crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah. But
that shows that people want it.
Yeah, that could be connected. That could be it. You know, that could be it. I don't want to talk about that league because I'm looking forward to that movie so much that I want people to.
We'll keep our eyes peeled for maybe a reference to something else beyond the Mario universe. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a direct in 3 days, dude. 3 days.
But it's not gonna be game related at all.
Yeah, Mario movie. But I'm saying, to me, they've already shown too much. What else are they gonna show?
Probably another trailer. I mean, whatever, another 90-second trailer, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't need any more. I mean, I knew I was gonna watch the movie before they even showed the first trailer. So.
Yeah.
But after the first trailer, I was already ready.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna show us more Luigi, and more Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Or maybe Captain Toad.
Dude, I love Luigi. Yeah.
Definitely Luigi. I think Luigi doesn't get more.
Charlie Day, dude. His Luigi voice is on point.
So
it goes with.
Yeah, this is my theory on that actually. So you know how the first direct they had a little interview with Jack Black and Chris Pratt, right? And then the second one had Anya Taylor-Joy and
Michael Keegan.
No, he hasn't. He was at the Game Awards, but he wasn't in a direct.
Okay.
He's a comedian. I know. I've mentioned his name so many times. Just to slip my brain. The Donkey Kong's voice actor.
Oh yeah.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Yeah.
I didn't want to say Joe Rogan. So my theory is that the next one is gonna have Keegan-Michael Key, and
Seth.
Yeah.
I mean,
damn it! Yeah. Why am I? But what is Luigi's name? He's from It's Always Sunny. Charlie
Charlie
Day.
Day.
Charlie Day. Yeah. So my theory is Charlie Day and Keegan Michael Key will get their interviews in the third direct because we already got the 4 others.
I mean, that works. I just hope that Illumination's my favorite animation companies because I love their art style. I just hope they don't show too much because they always do show too much. I love Despicable Me movies, and the reason why I enjoyed the third one is because I saw one trailer and that was it. But they showed about 10 trailers after that.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm gonna stream this direct just because I know it's gonna get capped. It's gonna get claimed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. They always do. Always do. I mean, I had a video going. Today's video, I had to re-upload it last night because I had footage from the movie, and they claimed it right away.
Yeah. I think what I'm gonna do is I'll probably live stream it, but I think what happens is they give you an option to cut out the reaction. So I'll cut it out. And then I'll do like a trailer analysis afterwards, but I can only use stills. There can't be any footage. Yeah. If you guys notice when in my videos, if I ever make reference to the Mario movie, I will almost never actually show the Mario footage trailer. I'll either use a pic or I'll use one single altered 5-second like clip, and that's it. Yeah. Like nothing else. Because they will we don't get in trouble for it. They just claim all monetization, so you make nothing from it. Yeah.
And then if you get too many of those claims, then that affects your channel for monetization future. They'll remove your monetization feature after that if you get way too many of those.
Really? Because
they'll say that you're just using other people's content rather than creating your own. So it's good. It's kind of good to stay on the low end of that. Yeah.
But let me just read a couple things in the chat real quick because I said I want to catch up. Tangents, man, they happen. James, it's weird how usually Ganondorf reincarnates as Ganon, but this time Ganon is reincarnating as Ganondorf. I wouldn't call it reincarnating. I see it more as resurrection because he's already there. He's not being reborn. I mean, you could reborn. Like it's a little bit of a loose, but he's coming back to life. There's already a body there. It's not a new body. Although that old body may get restored because that voice doesn't sound like a mummy in the trailer. I'll just say that. Let's see here. Oh, good. Not as many ats. It makes it easier for me. If you at me, I will more likely get to. Oh no, there's ats. They're there. All right. Joyce J. Y'all find Andre? No, I'm not even reading that out loud. Okay, I'll read it out loud because this is an ongoing joke from the Nintendo Prime's podcast that they want to find me a girlfriend. So Joyce J says, "Y'all find Andres Restart a partner at PAX. I'm putting you in charge of being the wingman, Mike. Hey, we're actually gonna be roommates at PAX though, so you know." Yeah.
We both snore, so we're good.
Yeah. There we go. Can't tell the partner that though. They gotta find out. They gotta find out the hard way. I'm just kidding. My snoring's not that bad, but you know, it exists. Depends on how badly the allergies are hitting.
Yeah.
Paul Dunn, did you know there is already a Animal Crossing movie? I do not doubt that there's probably some sort of animation, but I have not seen it and don't know much about it.
Yeah, it's really old.
Yeah.
There's this other guy I think called Denki on is it Denki? I'm not sure. On YouTube, man, does amazing animations. Crazy.
Oh, that'd be cool. This is kind of funny. 10,000 Noodle says, "Give him an earpiece and let chat chime in." So you'll have a laptop like behind a bush with a little headset, right? You'll be typing chat. What should he do? And you'll be like telling me. That would be a funny skit. But
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Switch 2. All right.
All
right. So honestly, there's a lot. There's kind of a lot to kind of dive in there. But let's try and cover the chronology. And if I miss something, please bring it up. Or if you want to add something, please bring it up, Mike. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. So it all started. I mean, this has been discussed for a long time, but I'm just talking about recent events, like this increased level of discussion on it as of late. It started with the Pokemon Presents. Pokemon Presents happens. Then people realize, wait, there was this 4chan post that leaked all the details that they revealed about the expansion pass for Pokemon Presents. Not one or two little things, everything, and it was very specific. It wasn't vague. Typically, when you'll see like a Reddit or 4chan post, they might get some things right, but they'll be said in a very vague way. So it's easier to get it right. And maybe one thing might be missing, and people will be like, it's okay, it's still close. And then it gets picked up because it was mostly right, it becomes popular. But sometimes people go on there because they know it's anonymous. They just want they actually know something and they want to share it with some people, have a conversation about it. Because people behind the scenes are fans too. They want to talk about this. So but they can't talk about it publicly because of NDA. So they go behind an anonymous source. Anyways, so typically we don't believe these things, but when there's that much detail and it's all 100% correct and none of it is vague, that's when we take a closer look at it. And that's what happened. But it was for the Pokemon. It was all for about the DLC stuff, but at the end they added that they were working on a graphics enhancement patch for new Switch models. So then we started talking about it. People started debating, what the new Switch models mean. Maybe they're just gonna have a patch for Pokemon as a whole. But that person clarified, and they were still anonymous, but there was like a hash they used to kind of verify that it was the same person. And which, some people debated, but there's another. I'll continue. They mentioned a couple things. They clarified that there were going to be new forms based off. I forget the mechanic in Scarlet and Violet. It's been a couple months since I've played not Dynamax, the crystallization. I forget there was a name for it.
Yeah,
I forgot the name.
It's there. That's it.
Terrestrialization. So the term they use is terrestrial forms, implying that some Pokemon have new forms when they terrestrialize. So they said that, which has not been confirmed yet, and then also explained that when they said new Switch models, they meant a next generation system. And that as far as they know, it's supposed to come out early 2024, which technically fits the winter 2023 timing, which is when Pokemon Company announced that. But then the story got updated again because a known reputable person known as the Riddler, actually, they didn't specifically state, hey, this person leaking this stuff is 100% right, but they did say that terrestrial forms are coming. This supports that other person about terrestrial forms. So, and this person's always right. The Riddler's it's not sometimes right. No, this person is always right. So when the Riddler said that the terrestrial forms are coming, it added even more validity to what this person said about terrestrial forms. So this person gained even more credibility. But then Jeff Grubb, he was asked about this, right? And he hasn't made a report. I'm not saying he's confirmed it, but he has said he's heard some things suggesting that something could happen even this year. And then he was a part of a podcast. Is it Too Funny Games, I think?
Too Funny Games, yeah.
Yeah. He was on a podcast on Twitch, and they asked him about this situation. He basically just kind of reiterated that, I heard some things, but it's not really enough to call it like a full-on report yet. But he did say that, yes, he's heard some things. So take it with a grain of salt. Don't attack Jeff if it ends up being wrong. He's not reporting it. He's not saying it's 100%. He's simply telling us straight up the truth. He's heard some things, but it's not enough for him to call it a report yet. So still take it with a grain of salt. All of this still take it with a grain of salt, because even if it's all true, Nintendo can change their plan last minute. Like that, this stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, he also talked about, from what he heard, that in terms of how it's going to be marketed, power-wise, it's next gen. Like, don't worry about that. This is in terms of power, this is a next generation system. But
at this point, he made sure to state that this was only his personal opinion. What he believes this could be, that this wasn't official information. So
yeah,
the official information from him was that yes, he heard part of the that there's something going on, but then he stated, okay, this is my personal opinion. I
Yeah.
believe Nintendo will do this and this and that. Yeah, and then go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
Well, I mean that kind of, you know, he spoke on this, right? And then people were reporting on it and stuff. And the thing is, the reporting on it was a little misleading because like the headlines were like, "Oh, Jeff Grubb says that it's gonna be something in between a Switch 2 and a Switch Pro," which makes it, when you read that, your first thought is, "Oh, so it's not a true next gen," right? Like that's and that was kind of some issues of headlines and stuff. But to your point, Mike, like that's just kind of his own speculation from what he understands. So, and you know, I'll tell you that I think Nintendo is going to be very cautious about how they transition over. I think that's clear. And if we assume the leak is correct, the fact that they're working on a graphics enhancement patch for Scarlet and Violet basically tells us that games are going to be backwards compatible. And and there's gonna be like your Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you're gonna be able to put into your Switch 2, it seems like, and there will be a patch you can download that will improve the visuals and performance for the next gen standard. Granted, probably because it's Pokemon, it still won't be it'll still be people will still be pissed about it, but it will look and run better than base Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And that implies that other games like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Smash Ultimate, Mario Kart, Luigi, a lot of popular Switch games probably are going to get patches too, and you'll probably still be able to use your base game and bring it over. And that's pretty much the story from what I understand. Is there anything else that should be brought up here before we kind of just decipher it all?
I mean, putting that together with everything we've heard in the past, for example, Shigeru Miyamoto stating that the methods of which they use now to develop the games it's much more, it's a lot more easier to bring games forward, because it's all the same system now. And I compare this to when you buy a phone, it has an operating system. You can take that same phone and upgrade that operating system or you can buy the brand new one. It's still the operating system. The apps are still compatible with each other. I think that Nintendo has reached the point where they develop the base or the software where they used to develop their games is now intact. Like they use this software to develop for the Switch and for the next gen. Not that the next gen games will be compatible with the Switch or vice versa, but at least bringing games forward and making sure that people who bought those games before can bring them to the new console. It's gonna be a lot easier. So yeah, backwards compatibility, I feel like from now on will be a good thing. Will be a sure thing. You know what I mean? With the patch that was mentioned in order to upgrade the better resolution for games. But yeah, I think you did a good job. Resuming everything that has been said. You didn't miss anything. I just brought a little bit of what Miyamoto said back then, tie it into what happened, what's been said now. So yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So I want to talk about this part first because I've had some debates with people in the comments about this, and I'm okay with debating, right? Like when I make a video, one, keep in mind I'm just kind of talking about what's happened and I'm giving you my thoughts and analyzing it. And sometimes I'll make a video and it'll be about something that I don't even necessarily believe, but I still think it's a worthy conversation. Like today, I made a Mario Kart video. It was a leak that I didn't believe, but I thought, okay, maybe let's talk about it, tell you my thoughts, and then I'll explain why I don't think it's happening, but also go into some elements of it that might make sense, because it's a good conversation to have. We're having conversations, right? Like, we can disagree on stuff. I think sometimes people get too caught up in having a different opinion that means you have to be mad at the person or argue. Like, no, we're talking about stuff. We're figuring things out, My opinion's constantly evolving. What I think this week is gonna be is gonna be different from what I think next week. I guarantee.
Exactly. Yeah. It's always good to hear different opinions.
Yeah.
Because that way you can actually consider different opinions and kind of look at your own opinion. And you never know. If you put them all together, then you might end up getting, one of the best. Even closer to what the end product will be. So yeah, sure. it's part of everything. You know.
Absolutely. And that's why I love live streaming with you guys in the chat, right? And having people like Mike on, because like we can kind of just, it's a good opportunity to kind of go deep and explore different ideas. And I feel like we've made lots of discoveries, realizations, or just gotten really cool ideas from these chats. When like me looking at what you guys have to say, talking about it. It's also why I like doing the Q&A, so I could just kind of focus more on you guys as opposed to kind of having like a debate or discussion with someone. Like there's just, it helps. Can you hear that in the background? Do you guys hear that? All right, let me close the door.
In the meantime, this podcast is brought to you by G Fuel.
Can you still hear it?
No.
Oh. I gotta work on some sound stuff. But anyway, so I just brought that up because there's been some debate about the interpretation of what the leak suggests, right? So I've been arguing that I think the leak suggests probably a holiday 2023 release. Now, keep in mind, disclaimer, I am not saying I'm 100% saying I think Switch 2 is coming at the end of this year. I'm simply stating that if the leak is legitimate and no plans change, there's a few ifs, I think it's suggesting holiday 2023 release. And I've had some debates with people on this. The reason why I think it suggests holiday 2023, it's a few layers here, so try and stay with me. The DLC, there's 2 DLC waves coming for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, right? And the leak says DLC 2, so the implication there is Wave 2. Some people have tried to argue that it might be a new DLC expansion, but it's not gonna be. It's coming out early 2024. If there's gonna be another DLC expansion, it'll be coming out way later. So it's not that. DLC 2 is Wave 2, the one with the turtle, right? Like that's what it is. Now, Winter 2023, it's Winter 20, even though it says 2023, that winter starts in 2023. So it can fall within December. I mean, I think you could technically argue November, but probably not. And most likely somewhere between January to February. You could squeeze it into early March, and it would still technically count as that. So that's kind of the window for the release of this. But the leak doesn't tell us the release date for the Switch 2. I think a lot of people read the leak and assumed, oh, that's when the Switch is coming out. No. The leak is not telling us Switch 2 is coming out at all. It's just saying that there's going to be graphics enhancement coming out with DLC 2 for the new Switch. So the second DLC is coming out winter, right? So somewhere between December and March, right? The implication of having a graphics enhancement patch ready day one, because that's the implication there with the DLC, is that you're going to be able to enjoy those better graphics on a new system that's already out there playing the DLC, which suggests that either A, the DLC and the graphics patch come out the same day as Switch 2, or Switch 2 has already been out for a few days, a few weeks, or a couple months. It doesn't mean that it comes out the same day. I would say it's actually unlikely. There's a possibility that it is, but there's also any time before that, right? And consider this. Nintendo's not going to release a new next-gen system in January or February. That's not happening. Let me explain why that's not going to happen. Because you would have to announce it somewhat beforehand, and they're not going to announce a next-gen system in December for it to come out in January or February. First of all, that's already arguably too quick of a turnaround. But second, they're not going to make an announcement during the holidays. Now, you could argue maybe March. March is a possibility, and maybe the Pokemon DLC comes out March, which would then suggest that the DLC is going to come out around, if not the same day, like really close to the launch of it. But let me throw something else out at you here. I don't think the DLC is going to take that long to come out. This is my personal speculation. I think people are assuming, because now it's being tied to the system, they kind of want to push it further out. Say, it's actually going to maybe come out like March or April, which according to the eShop, the deadline is April. But those deadlines are never total like that's not actually indicative of when it's going to come out. It's going to come out before then. It's always before then, at least by a month.
Yeah.
Pokemon Company wants this DLC out as fast as possible.
Mhm.
I have a feeling it might even take up the January time slot. It might be like a Legends Arceus release. Like it might be their Pokemon content for January. But it could still be February or March. Main point is though is that a Switch 2 will have already been out, and let's say it comes out the latest March, it's gonna most probably come out after Switch 2. So the Switch that suggests either A, maybe the Pokemon DLC comes out like mid to late March, Switch 2 comes out early March, and they announce it in January, or it's already been out since like November.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The other kind of weird part though is that some people want to argue that maybe the Switch 2 will come out early 2024. And I mean, that's possible, right? If Nintendo's not ready, sure. But it's not going to be like Switch 1. They announced the Switch 1 in October of 2016. They were able to do that because there were no holiday sales to lose. The Wii wasn't selling anything.
Yeah.
They can't do that this time. They can't announce a Switch 2 and expect that it doesn't impact their sales at all. It will. They could have a price drop, and that might help, but they're still going to impact their sales if they announce a Switch 2 before the holidays. Now, let me throw another angle at you, because then you might argue, well, okay, fine, just announce a system in January and come out with it in March. That might be enough. That's a very quick turnaround. Nintendo could do it, but also optically, how good is it going to look to have an announcement event in January right after Christmas?
Yeah.
It's not going to look good. So I think the leak is basically telling us Switch 2 has to come out like November or before then.
Yeah.
Now, the leak might be false. The leak might be wrong. Plans might change. But if we're assuming the leak is correct, I think it tells us that Switch 2 has to come out at the latest November.
Yeah. So I have a timeline in my head already of what is happening, and my thought process has to do with Nintendo's language in this year. You know, silence speaks volumes. Okay,
That's Tears of the Kingdom. That Tears of the Kingdom buzz.
Yeah. This is the first year where we are in March, and we literally don't know what's happening in the second half of the year. We literally have absolutely nothing from Nintendo when it comes to
Pikmin 4 in July, baby.
Pikmin 4 in July. That's basically it.
Yeah.
And you can also argue that game has also been delayed and made for this year, just like Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom was delayed and brought to this year because when was Pikmin 4 announced?
2015.
So there you have it.
I mean, they had to restart development or something. Obviously, that got shelved for a long time, but
if you take two delayed games, the only two delayed games, the only games that the only two first-party games announced this year that have big fans, they're both two delayed games. And if let's say Tears of the Kingdom would have been launched original in 2022, right? Then take away Tears of the Kingdom from this year, we have Pikmin 4. And still Pikmin 4 is not that huge of a franchise to say it can carry a year for Nintendo, and it can't. So when you look at it, there's silence. There is silence, okay? From that point on, and this is my timeline. This is what what I feel they're gonna do. August is their big presentation. They're having a big presentation in August because this is when they are going to announce and present on some sort of stage their next gen console with a release date. I can agree with you. Could be November, could be December. Because January is not a month to release a console. Even February is not a month to release a console because imagine all these folks who bought Switches on Christmas. February is still a return date. They still have time to go and return those Switches.
Yeah, they don't want that either.
That'll cause a really huge commotion. Now, The way they can do this is if we put Jeb's Grump's comments into play here, is that they are incredibly smart in announcing this next generation console that is not really a next generation, is an upgrade to the Nintendo Switch, and it's still within the Nintendo Switch family of systems, is stating, look, we have a more powerful console. We can guarantee that every first party game is going to be there. It's going to be on the Switch. It's going to be in Switch Lite. Yes, you will benefit from higher graphics, more powerful on the Switch, on the Switch Plus, right? If they call it a Switch, they could put a plus to it, or a 2 on it, or.
So can I interrupt you for a quick second? I saw that Nate made a video titling Switch Plus, and you just said Switch Plus. I also want to point out that I theorized the next Switch was we called it Switch Plus back in 2019.
Oh, by the way, you can actually go to my comments and look at that Switch also around 2019 as well. I put Switch Plus.
Yeah.
And even on Twitter, I put Switch Plus so years ago when we first started talking about Switch Pro.
Yeah, same. But the thing is, at the time I thought it was gonna be a Pro, so that's why this was before Switch Lite was announced. I predicted that they were gonna call the next Switch Switch Lite, and I predicted that they called the more powerful Switch Plus instead of Pro. But granted, we're talking about next gen now, so I don't know if I would go with Plus, but we'll see.
But it's a good name if they want to keep it. Without alienating everybody else, because it's people. Okay, so I have a Switch. That means they can continue selling the Switch base model or the OLED. They will remove the base model, keep the OLED, and maybe release an OLED Lite. Okay. And then have that as a Switch Lite Plus or whatever too as well. Switch Lite Plus, and then the Switch Plus, and just promise that every game, first party at least, because we know that if we have that deal with Call of Duty coming to Nintendo, we're not gonna get that on the base model. And if we do, they will probably get a cloud version, and then the Switch Plus will get the main version.
They just announced Budokai Tenkaichi 4, bro. Okay, it's not called 4, but it's a new Budokai Tenkaichi. I'm getting that game. Yeah. I don't know what system I'm getting it on yet, but I'll tell you, man, Resident Evil's looking hype. Elden Ring is a really good game I still haven't played yet. I'm thinking I might need to get a PS5 soon because there's some good games. Unless they start coming to Switch,
But that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the selling point, because guess what? Third-party companies are not going to develop for the main Switch. They're going to develop for the Switch Plus, because that's where the power is, And therefore, there will be games that are fully compatible with both, but there are games solely for the Switch Plus, because you can't really control what third-party developers want to develop for, and in particular Call of Duty. You know what I mean? And then let's say Elden Ring can come to the Switch Plus. We get all these awesome games coming over to the Switch Plus, but not for the Switch. That's gonna be the selling point. But I think Nintendo at that point is laying down the line that the Switch continues. The Switch is not going anywhere. We are just adding a family member. Okay, we have the small version for the kids and for those who like to travel and just put the Switch in their pockets. We have the base model for those who are not too crazy about power, and but we will still give them the OLED model. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be an upgrade within that base model as well. Maybe like a battery life or something else. Maybe the Joy-Cons, new technology or something like that. Something different. And then we'll have the Switch Plus or Switch 2 or whatever they decide to brand that Switch model.
If they go with like a Plus naming, the cool thing about that is that they could also brand new hardware that way too. Like Joy-Cons. Like they could call them Joy-Con Plus, which actually fits really well. Yeah. And then it would be cool if they are actually compatible with check this out. It'd be really cool. So let's say Switch Plus comes out and it has analog triggers, and they release Joy-Con Pluses that also have analog triggers. So if you want to play games with analog triggers, you actually can if you buy those Switch Plus Joy-Cons, which, by the way, will be more money for Nintendo, because even people who don't get Switch Plus or 2 or whatever will start buying those Joy-Cons. And
Yeah.
what that also helps though is that if you get those Joy-Cons, it facilitates the transition eventually too. Because if some people have picked up a pair of Joy-Cons or two already, and then a couple of years pass, and they're like, oh well, maybe it's now time for me to transition over. Like I really think that might be the best way to go about it. Like, it's a system powerful enough to have exclusives. It'll mostly just be some third-party exclusives, but for the most part, the lineup will be the same. I'm not sure when Nintendo will start doing exclusives though. That's the part that I'm unsure of.
And that's where I feel like Jeff Grubb's comment comes into play, because for this main Switch, its purpose is to extend the life maybe to 10 years. You never know,
Yeah.
So then when we reach the next milestone, that's going to be the true next gen console, which is probably not going to be called a Switch. It's going to be called something else at that point. But I think from Nintendo, what Nintendo's going to do here is, I feel like they are going to upgrade, not only give us a Switch Plus, but they're going to also upgrade the Switch OLED, and they're also going to upgrade the Switch Lite. They're going to do an incremental upgrade for all three consoles. And this is the only way where everybody feels included. Everybody feels welcome. Imagine a Switch Lite with an OLED screen, a little bigger OLED screen, but still with the same portability, right? People are going to jump on that. They're going to feel like it's still an upgrade, right? Imagine the same exact Switch OLED, but with some, maybe a Joy-Con upgrade as well. Something in the lines of the Joy-Cons Plus, right? But for the Switch OLED. And then we have the powerhouse. The powerhouse Switch Plus, that one's gonna have all the power, that one's gonna have the 4K resolution and all this stuff. If they bring it all together at the same time, that's like literally saying, hey, we have new products, but those of you who still have your Nintendo Switches, if you want a Switch Lite, because I know Switch Lite needs an upgrade. They've been needing an upgrade for a long time. They have their new Switch Lite, right? Which they can upgrade to. And if you have a base model, you can upgrade to the new Switch OLED. Or if you want to upgrade, then you go to the Switch Plus. And if they do that, then they will be following, of course, like a model like Apple does. Apple releases multiple phones, right? And then what they do is they do an incremental upgrade to the old models just to keep them fresh with iOS and new features, right? And then the newer models have the newer features and the newer specs, right? You have two phones. This is last year's phone. This is this year's phone. This phone is gonna get new features because of the software upgrade, right? So you'll still have new features here. This one has the newer features, and plus whatever new features has this one, because this is the newer model for this year. So if they go that route, then I feel like everybody will be included. Everybody will be excited. And nobody will feel, they'll feel left out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's their plan. They don't want to have people feel left out, right? You do get a price drop for the other Switch models. Maybe they drop them each by $50 or something. Have a forward note. Like they first kind of go for the hardcore, and over time it becomes a little bit more mainstream. And if all your eShop, especially if it is kind of like treated like that mid-gen refresh sort of thing where all of your eShop downloads and everything, like that's all transferred over. Like it's basically like just if it's just basically like getting like a Switch OLED, a Switch OLED, and you would have access to all your downloads, all your Nintendo Switch Online stuff. Like that would be great. It's like basically the same operating system. I mean, I would hope that they would update the operating system a little bit, but if they didn't, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, and maybe this DLSS technology where everything is upgraded via AI, maybe that's for the lower models of Switch consoles, and then the main Switch console, it'll all be on board.
Well, it wouldn't be DLSS because it has to be in the hardware, but you mean like an AMD FSR 2 or 3?
Yeah. But for the lower models, but I feel it's gonna be this year. I don't think it's gonna be next year. I think because again, looking at Nintendo's language for this year, a whole bunch of DLCs and just 2 games along the line right now. Next game coming out, which is Tears of the Kingdom. The next game after that is Pikmin. That's it. That's it. And then that's it. That's it. I mean, when is the next Nintendo Direct? And if they have one, because they're not going to E3 in June. But are we gonna wait till June to get something for August and for for August? There's nothing going on. So that's why I feel like no, this has to be like this, because Nintendo they're going to announce something pretty soon, and it has to be right. It could be in July. It could be right in July. It could be in August.
Yeah.
But I feel like Nintendo is going to have their event. And this is the year where we're going to have all the upgrades, and they're going to do it in a way that it won't hurt Switch sales. Even announcing the first one, people are the way they're going to do it. People are still going to choose, because they're going to have the choice to still buy the Nintendo Switch base model, or the Lite version, or the Plus version.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that, I mean, I know you're not sure, right? You're just kind of speculating, but like you initially suggested an August announcement date. And I think it's an interesting timing, and I can kind of see that. But, my first thought was actually June. And the reason why June, and I can see some reasons why maybe 9, we'll get to that. But the reason why I first thought June was because, okay, that's a month after Tears of the Kingdom. And I think we're really primed to get a Direct in June. Just because it's a vacant month, there's no game coming out then. They do need to make announcements with some time in advance, because currently all we have is Pikmin 4 in July. You're telling me it's not going to be an August game or a September game? They need to make those announcements in the beginning of the summer, not right before. Like, yeah, they can shadow drop a game or two, right? But they can't get by with just shadow drops and 2-week prior announcements for the whole summer. They need to make some announcement beforehand. Like, maybe they'll do something like what they did with like Pikmin, with Origami King. Like, they announce it like 2 months beforehand on social media, and that'll be like the August game, just to kind of give them a bit more time before they're ready to have a presentation. But this whole idea about Nintendo not being at E3. Maybe the reason they're not going to be at E3 is because they're going to have their own event in the summer that it's going to satisfy that E3 kind of showcase, but they don't need to do E3 again if they're going to have this event. Now, does that happen in June? Do we wait till July? I'm not sure, but I feel like if this is their plan, if Switch 2 is happening this year, I question, will this Switch 2 announcement event, assuming it's an event and not just like a trailer, I think if it is everything we're talking about, it has to be more of an event, because they have to take the time to appropriately explain the messaging, the marketing, and all of that.
And I think that's why we're getting all the silence, because right now, even though we have silence behind the scenes, there has to be like a hellstorm of work going on to put this event together, right? And remember, there's one thing here that I feel like I look at. I know there's a lot of speculation and we come up with dates and stuff like that, but there's one thing that I look at a lot: stockholders. Okay, stockholders, they need to be happy throughout the year, and if Nintendo has a dull year where the stocks go down, they're not going to be happy, and that could affect Nintendo market value, and they don't want that. You know what I mean?
And here's the other thing. So, like, people might argue, okay, well, then that's what you announce a Switch 2 for next year to appease the stockholders. But
no, you can't. But it'll still drop the stocks, because if you announce this year for next year, this Christmas is gonna be a
right, and you can't do that. Now, the thing is, something that people have talked about, and I can kind of see, is like, what if they do announce it this year, but they have a really big price drop on Switch to still sell them. Now, my question is, like, it'll help, but let me ask you, like, I want to ask the chat this, right? Like, your price drop will help sales, but what would be the best? Like, what would be the best yield? What's the most business savvy decision? Have a price drop and still have that new system, or don't announce a price drop until that new system's announced next year. Like, like, you can't I don't. I feel like they're gonna lose out on some sales by announcing it this year, even if they do a price drop. It'll help, but it's kind of like a band-aid for like like a gunshot or something. Like it's not gonna. If people know a new system's coming, you're gonna lose sales for the holidays.
And the price drop is gonna give it out too. Oh, price drop? That means something is coming. So I'm gonna save my money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what makes the most sense is to do a price drop, but you do the price drop as you announce a new system, like same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I personally think that as you announce a new system, they're gonna drop a system. They're gonna just drop the base model, keep the OLED at $299, and then the Switch Plus at $399.
Say it again. I missed that.
$299. Drop the base model, discontinue that one, keep the light, upgraded version.
Yeah.
$299 for the OLED model.
Yeah.
And then $399 for the Plus model.
And the light stays at $199. Doesn't change price.
And the light stays at $199.
I'm not sure about that.
Even with the OLED screen, if they upgraded that version.
Yeah, I see that. That makes sense. Maybe they don't. I think the other thing is that, like, I don't think the light's that important. If that makes sense.
For some people it is. I have 2 daughters
who
don't want the Switch. I've offered them Switch editions.
Yeah.
They don't want the Switch because it's too bulky. My daughter had a 3DS before that. My other daughter had a 3DS before that too. So they're just to them that's the upgrade for the 3DS, and they don't want the
right. I mean, compared to a 3DS, it is extreme. It's just so much better. Like it's like the biggest. You could argue the biggest jump in Nintendo history. Like 3DS to Switch, like it is huge. The thing is, because we look at Switch as like their home console. Like if you look at it as a jump from Wii U, it's a very small leap. But if you look at a jump from 3DS, it's I don't know about the numbers, but like optically, it's maybe the biggest jump since like going to 3D, or like it's huge. And
my niece, she just turned 8, but she was 6. She had her dad had given her a Nintendo Switch, like the full model.
Yeah.
She lost the Joy-Cons. Okay, she broke one Joy-Con, she lost the other. We got her for Christmas. We got her the Nintendo Switch Lite in pink. She still has it with her case and everything, and her little games on the digital games, because she'll lose the, So when you think about that, Nintendo as a family console, they don't want to get rid of that option, because they know that even though light versions are not being sold like the Switch or the OLED, because we buy those versions. The lighter versions are for those who want to be some adults, but
it's very kid friendly. I mean, and when I said I don't think the light's that important, I don't mean like they shouldn't sell it anymore. I just mean like maybe they don't really need to upgrade it anytime soon. They don't need to add an OLED. They can kind of just keep it as is. I'm not how they handle the pricing. Because I mean, the thing is, I think at some point they're gonna have to upgrade the light. Like there's gonna need to be at some point, and it could be a few years from now. They could have like a more kid-friendly Switch Plus or Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And to me, marketing-wise, the best thing they could do in this new whatever presentation they put together is just to bring it all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And establish from the very beginning, this is what we have. This is our line. You can keep your Switch if you want. Update the software. Maybe discontinue the OG that you have. That one is not allow that to have software updates just because of security issues. You want to have your software on newer models instead of older models that could be exploited and used for other things. But do that, just kind of offer software upgrades for the newer, for the current models now, and then same software from the newer models, but of course better features.
Yeah, I feel like they could start phasing out like the original models, like maybe 2 years after the release of the system, like
Yeah,
maybe kind of like every 2 years phase out a model.
yeah, it's already been discontinued. The original model.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
V1. Yeah,
But you still get updates. You still get
yeah,
updates.
still get updates
Yeah.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah. So discontinue that. Yeah. Once you get another upgrade, and yeah, what you just said makes sense. If they go that route, they keep just climbing the ladder instead of just giving you a completely different platform. You know, if
iPhone
they go that
model.
route, I
Yeah,
actually prefer it. I actually prefer it. You know, personally, I do prefer it
yeah,
because it just creates peace of mind knowing that the games are still compatible, backwards compatible with the most recent. There'll be a point where okay,
yeah.
that one is just so no longer compatible.
Sure.
But
Now,
you know, with more,
the one kind of caveat to this idea, though, is that the Switch Lite, the V2, and the OLED are all pretty much the same internals. So
yeah,
if you're gonna you know, stop updating the Lite and the V2, there's no difference. Then they're no different than the OLED internally. So like,
yeah, yeah.
it would kind of be weird to do that. So maybe
Yeah, I mean,
they would update
software.
those for a little bit longer. But maybe they
Yeah,
phase them all out at the same time, but they wait a few years.
yeah, you can do it software wise because that's what Apple does. Apple basically upgrades software wise throughout the lineup because they still have phones going back 3-4 years. You know, but software wise, they all come together at the same time. Some features are only available on the newer model. You know what I mean? But software wise, they all come together at the same time, and feature wise, you know, older ones are more limited than the, so, and then that's how it goes until the next year comes up. This one leaves the lineup, and then they add a new one here. This one becomes the last one in line again, and so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that I think that goes in line with Jeff Krell was saying. It was like, okay, it's gonna be an upgrade, but it's not going to be a completely next gen model. It's gonna be
Sure.
like you know, more powerful, yes, but not as in
Yeah.
we're looking at something completely different.
You know, and potentially another sign that this is happening is the speculation that Prime 4 could be coming out at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, myself included, thought that when Prime Remastered comes out, it's because Prime 4 is right around the corner. And when you think about how Nintendo just kind of rushed Prime Remaster out the door, the reasoning could be because they want to get Prime Remaster out because they want people to see that as fast as possible because they have a Prime 4 release looming. Now, I'm not saying I'm switching for 20. I'm not like I'm. The more we talk about it, I want to believe Prime 4 is coming out this year. I want to believe Switch 2 is coming out this year. I want to believe with 3D Mario is coming out this year, and I think there's reason behind that. But I'm trying to pay attention to both sides, you know. But when you think about it, though, like I think Prime 4 is a good launch window game, and I want to explain that real quick because I don't personally agree with Prime 4 being a launch title, because while I do believe Prime 4 is going to be a huge opportunity for the Metroid series to reach a new level of sales, like I think it could be a big seller. It's still not a guaranteed seller like a Mario or Zelda. So it doesn't fit launch title. But launch window is like a secondary or tertiary, like a 1, 2, or 3 punch. Like, yes. And it's great to have this launch window because even if people don't buy it, people will see, oh, that looks really good. And that will help to kind of showcase what the system can do to just the overall consumer. So I think it's important as a launch window game to come out within a few months of when that system releases, but not exactly the same time. And but what I actually think is a launch, I think that launch title is a Mario game. And if you think about it, if they actually are positioned to have a new hardware release this year, it makes sense for that Mario game. It makes the most sense to do it this year because that's when the movie is fresh. If you want to, really want to hit the ground running with this system, Mario game, that's going to work really well.
Oh, and this is another thing that the Mario movie is stated for April, but the release of the Mario movie is stated for November.
Wait, what?
The release to digital is in November.
Oh, the digital release for the movie is this holiday.
It's
Oh.
normally
Oh, that's
it's
really interesting. That's like a
yeah,
double dip situation. But
exactly, yeah.
it's
So
gonna renew that interest. A lot more people watch it on Netflix or whatever app they decide to choose.
exactly, and that's perfect matchup with the game, right there with the Mario game, Mario
Yeah,
movie same time.
yeah, that's huge. Man, imagine if they did it on Netflix. I think you should
Yeah,
do. I think you should put it on Netflix. First
they're
off,
gonna they're gonna go Peacock.
no, no,
They have a contract with Universal already.
no. I disagree. No, I
Yeah,
don't. No, no. I don't agree.
yeah.
I don't agree.
Watch. Listen, Universal. It's all tied together. This is like an entire big
Right.
family.
I
Like
get it. I get
Super
it.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo World, Illumination is owned by Universal. Universal owns Peacock. It's all tied together. They signed a contract that would all that right there.
But I don't know if that means. I don't think that means that the movie will be exclusive to Peacock. Though Peacock's not a big enough platform to get that movie out there.
I wish I could talk, but I can't.
Huh?
I'm not gonna say anything else because I know information, but it's because of my
Sure.
where I work.
Listen.
But I can't.
Listen.
But I already said enough.
Okay. I will. I
Peacock.
will. I'll keep this in mind. I'm not gonna believe it, but I will keep it in mind.
Yeah.
Just because
So,
I mean, you understand my point, though. You understand that Peacock is not a big streaming app. No,
It-
barely anyone has it even downloaded, even if it's free. I was given Peacock for free, never touched it.
But listen. You know why Peacock is big now? Because it has The Office. Because it has all these big giant shows that people watch. So it does have millions and millions of watchers. Even WWE is exclusive now to Peacock. So if you go to WWE, like if you go to Peacock right now and you sign in, let's say get a free version or whatever, look at how they have organized. If you see WWE, you're gonna see a side for Nintendo. So whenever Nintendo does release an animated series or something, it's gonna be on its own section, completely section. Like if you go to Disney Plus, you see Marvel, you see Star Wars section, you
So
see Disney section.
Peacock is not free, right? You pay for it, but it's free with certain services.
There's a free version. You
Okay.
there's a free version, and it has ads. Of course, it has like
Yeah.
one or two ads.
Okay.
That's the one I have. I'm not gonna pay. You know, that's the one I have. So yeah, there's a free version. If you have TNT, AT&T, I think, or
Sure.
T-Mobile, like that, you
Um,
get it for free. I
okay.
mean, every phone company is giving you a free service for some.
I think when I lived in
sort.
PA, I got was it Comcast internet? I don't remember what it might have been Comcast or something like that, and they gave me a Peacock box, and I was like, all right, I'm putting that in the
Comcast,
closet.
because Comcast owns Universal and Comcast owns, and
Yeah.
Comcast is the parent company.
Sure.
So
Detective
Some-
Pikachu was I know Illumination it wasn't Detective Pikachu, but Detective Pikachu briefly was on Netflix for a little while.
yeah, but it wasn't, yeah, because it wasn't same. It wasn't created by the same company. It was a different company, different developer,
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
film company.
But it bounced around, right? Like you can
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you could watch it on Netflix, but you also can rent it on YouTube. Like I still think you're still gonna probably be able to rent the movie in other
Oh, yeah, for
places.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to renting the movie, when it comes to renting the movie, it's gonna be everywhere. Apple TV, Amazon. When it comes to streaming the movie on a platform, it's gonna be on Peacock in its own section for Nintendo.
I'll tell you this: they do that, they will obtain some new Peacock subscriptions.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I also think it's going to minimize.
It's not gonna go
greatly-
Netflix.
All right. But you agree with me that if it's on Netflix, that will give it the most visibility.
No, it
most. You don't.
Well,
You
no,
don't.
I won't. It won't. No, it won't. It will. Nintendo is a brand of itself that will enhance any platform is on. If Nintendo says we have the Super Mario movie here, trust me, all eyes, all eyeballs are gonna go.
All
You know,
right.
Nintendo is big enough of a brand that it'll enhance. Like Universal, you have to understand what happened with Universal. Disney screwed over Universal. Okay, Disney left Universal without IPs. They bought everything under them. They bought Fox and the Fantastic Four. They bought Marvel and they bought all
Yeah.
the main characters.
Yeah.
The licensing deals went down on Universal, so Universal needed something else bigger to kind of bring back their parks, and they hit the jackpot with Nintendo, with Super Mario being the most recognizable character in the world, for families. So right now, Universal Studios has their own Mickey Mouse, but a more famous character, and trust me, they're gonna bank on
Quick
that.
thing, I just realized I missed the super chat from Taker610 from half an hour ago. I feel bad. Thank you, Taker, if you're still watching, for the super chat. I super appreciate it. Taker says this is not actually a leak, so or a spoiler. Don't worry, guys. But it's funny. They fully revealed Switch 2 already in the Zelda art book. Did you guys miss that? It's going to be a playable character in the game. Yeah. Thank you very much, Taker. Yeah.
And shout out to Blue Moon.
The drink?
Blue Moon, is that a drink?
It is.
Is that a drink?
Yeah, Blue Moon. It's an alcoholic beverage.
Oh, and this kid is a user. I'm pretty sure she drinks Blue Moon. I'm not sure. Do you drink Blue Moon? Blue Moon? I'm not sure.
Maybe
that's what they got the name. Maybe she's the owner of the company that makes the drink. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Blue Moon CEO right here. Yeah. Right?
So I mean, only time will tell. Time will tell.
I will also tell you. I'll tell you this: if the Mario movie is not on Netflix, that's gonna be a huge hit for Netflix. Like it's gonna continue the narrative that Netflix is slowly deteriorating.
Oh, it is deteriorating. It's very quickly deteriorating. Right now, what brought Netflix back was Stranger Things, and if they continue to doing shows like that, then they can only get better. Right now, Stranger Things and shows like they revived from YouTube, Cobra Kai. Shows like that is what Netflix needs to focus on, creating shows like this that kind of feed off nostalgia. Stranger Things on the 80s, Cobra Kai with the Karate Kid.
Well, Cobra Kai was initially on YouTube.
It was. They dropped it, then Netflix picked it up.
Yeah.
So that's what Netflix has to do. That's what they have to do. They have all their movies and everything there, and eventually get some licensing from movies, but they have to focus on their own products, on their own own shows. They've been depending on other companies for so long that when those companies took their IPs back and make their own streaming services, Netflix was left with nothing.
Yeah. Drew Mello asks, did this stream already address a supposed summary for Tears of the Kingdom? Yes, in the sense that we're not talking about it. Mike had some words on it. He explained why he took down the video.
If you want, I can.
Go.
I feel like every viewer deserves an explanation, and I want to give it to you if you want to. So I'll make it shorter. I received something official behind the scenes. Now, I want to put this first. I'm not a leaker. I've never been a leaker, and I've never been the source of a leak in my life. Right? That's and for the first time, I received this, and I can say this is a flyer from my local GameStop. I can, know, you guys don't know where I live, but my local GameStop. I went ahead and I made a video. I literally read verbatim and put some features on top of it and released a video. That's exactly what I did. If I would have shown the flyer, because it's not out yet, Nintendo would have came after me, right? So that's one reason I took it down.
It might have been worse than just like a strike. It might have been like a
take down the channel.
Cease and desist, or or worse. Yeah.
Legal action plus my channel would have gotten a strike. I would have lost my MCN, because they don't go with that stuff. And I really felt horrible, putting information out there. Like, personally, myself, like I run a family-oriented channel. You can go to my channel and watch videos years back, and you've seen that every single video has been nothing but news. I've never been the source of a leak in my life.
Right.
I have covered leaks when they've been news out there, like, for example, this Pokemon. Yeah, but I've never been the source of one myself. And so being the source of one, seeing how it was affecting people and how people were being affected by the video, it did hurt me, but it was hurting more my community, because my community is not to that. Not
Sure.
used to people coming over and leaving curse words or leaving stuff like that. And I'm like, this is really not worth it. And like I said, it was like six or 7,000 views. I was getting views and subscribers. I could care less about that. To me, the safest thing I could do is keep my community safe. So therefore, that's why I still stand by what I put out there, because it was an official state, and I regret it actually. It was an official document that I received. I was a source of a leak, and then after that, I'm like, it's really not worth it, because I wasn't really even sleeping well. Man. I couldn't even think. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
I feel like I was harming the company that I love. I love Nintendo. I love their IPs. I love watching speculation videos, and then I'm putting out there the entire intro to the game. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So, do you think it's 100% like is there any room for maybe
there was one little mistake in the trailer in what I read, because I
Yeah.
misread that.
Yeah.
One little mistake, but I'm not gonna mention it because then
Right,
it'll
we're
give it
not
out.
spoiling anything, so just so you
Yeah,
guys
and
know, like we're not.
yeah. I messed up in one single. It could be like a digit, like a little digit.
Sure.
Not everything else. Everything else is completely 100% accurate because it's official information. But I literally felt horrible putting it out there.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, you know what, it's not worth it. It's not worth
Yeah.
it. Putting myself, my channel in danger. First thing, if you guys don't know, I'm legally blind. I can't see through this eye at all. I have only 50% and going down of my sight left on this eye. The reason why I'm doing YouTube is so that I can have a job to support my family when I can't work anymore. I can do my videos here, and I can I work for Apple. I work for a reputable company. I work for Apple corporate. I get paid well, but I'm on a leave of absence right now. I'm not working because of my eyesight. And you got people who know me already know the story about me. I'm losing my sight. The doctor says that that I will eventually be blind. It's happening. There's nothing I can do about it. This world will turn dark for me eventually, and there's literally nothing I can do about it right now. Technology is not advanced enough to find something. I'm going to doctors and seeing there's new technologies every day, surgeries that are coming up, but I don't put what I do in jeopardy, nor do I release anything that I don't believe, and much less to deceive anybody out there, because that's not my intention. I run a family-oriented channel, and that's it. I don't know how long I'll be doing this, but my community has been motivating me to say, hey, once you lose your sight, you can still do content, because there are other blind YouTubers out there, and I'll find the way, but it'll be easier than I working on a computer for 10 hours a day, which I normally do 10 hours a day. And I work with coding, and black and white work is not colors or shapes. It's literally coding. I work managing the app store.
It's a lot harder to distinguish.
Yeah. So that's it's been affecting my job. So that's why I'm kind of transitioning over to YouTube, trying to create content, and that's my life, So that's just a little bit of the backstory to let you know. Look, I'm not here to deceive you. I'm here to offer you an alternative, safe place that you can have fun with your friends and even your kids. You can have your kids in the background listening to my video and still feel safe that nothing's going to be said or shown that will harm them at all. So I felt like that video was kind of going against everything I believe. Even though I wanted to try it out to become good, to see how people received it, I didn't feel well putting it myself out there, and it was an experience that I did. I learned from it, and I'm ready to move on to, learn from my experience from that mistake, and not do it again. Even if the information was factual, it wasn't right for me to put it out there, and ruin a good thing that we have when it comes to all these awesome speculations and stuff like that. So that's basically it. That's it. And I'm the kind that I respect you enough, everybody who views, that I would explain to you, and I did it on the chat.
Yeah.
I did like a little paragraph to somebody who asked, And if you ask me, if you go to one of my videos and you want to ask any questions, guess what? I will answer you because I feel like you deserve, and I respect your time as well. So there you have it.
My cat's attacking me. She's very violent. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
cat.
she's coming at me full force. Full force. All right, watch out. You can stay on my lap. That's okay. I have these earphones on, and you're getting in the way of that. All right.
But
Cool.
yeah, Switch 2 is coming out this year. It's
Yeah.
gonna be good.
Hopefully. I think so. I mean, I don't know if I should say I think so yet, but I'm waiting for that next bit of information that's kind of like really cements, you know.
Yeah.
When is a game developer conference? Because there may be some reports. Game developer conference is right around PAX, actually.
Wow.
That man, shh. That week is gonna be crazy.
When is it gonna be?
It's March 20th to March 24th. So
what?
So GDC happens the same week as PAX.
But is it in the same location or a different location?
It's in California.
Okay,
Yeah. But how crazy is it going to be that there's going to be a game developer conference, and some developers may talk, and there might be some people that may say some things. It'll be rumors, right? But like maybe like Nate the Hate or someone will say something they heard, or Jeff Grubb might be like, hey, so, right? So we'll hear those things about like Switch 2 might come out. Like there might be some more stuff, but then if we have a Tears of the Kingdom demo at PAX as well, like it's just going to be, right? But I will say, it's also possible that when the GDC comes around, it'll be fairly quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's something else I want to address here. I saw some people bring it up in the chat. I haven't seen this yet. Like I said, I've been in the middle of moving. Like I barely had time. I'm actually personally incredibly proud of myself that I somehow managed to come up with a video every day the last couple weeks in a row. Even like yesterday and today, I've been moving this whole time. Like, yeah. But what I want to touch on here, because I saw some people mention it, so there's something about apparently Nintendo Versus being at PAX, and I think the concern is that that's the Nintendo content. There's some sort of like tournament or something. Nintendo Versus instead of like a Tears of the Kingdom demo. Have you heard anything about that, Mike?
Nope, this is the first time I hear about it.
Like, let me see. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. Nintendo Versus. For guys in the chat, I'm going to take a look at the chat right here. Is there anything about... Where can I find this information? Nintendo Versus at PAX 2023. I just see Nintendo confirmed to have a booth. And that was from a few weeks ago. I don't see any reports on... Like, I'm doing the Google search, right? Nintendo Versus at PAX. There's no articles on it.
The only thing I see is from last year, September 2022.
Right, yeah. I don't see any of that. So I saw some people bring it up. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think I see something. Hold on. I think I saw something about like the layout.
Mm-hmm.
They have a layout. Yeah. Trying to find something. You know when you see Google, it shows like a headline, but when you click on the page, you can't see where it's said there.
Hey,
Pokemon. It appears that the Nintendo of America listing in the PAX list of exhibitor changed to Nintendo Verse Arcade. So up there in this, it appears the Nintendo of America listing in the PAX list of exhibitor changed Nintendo Verse Arcade, meaning that Nintendo's presence at PAX will most likely focus on their esports stuff, Smash and Splatoon, no Zelda. Huh.
And what source?
Reset Era.
Hmm.
If you... Where would I see this? Is it on the PAX website? I think if you go on the PAX website, it might suggest that that's their booth. They have the Nintendo Verse Arcade. Let me see. See, maybe I was searching for the wrong thing. Nintendo versus arcade. Okay, screw you, Google. PAX 2023. Does that bring up any articles? I mean, there's just some threads on this, and this is a while ago, actually.
Yeah, if we don't see a main like picture outlet or more than one, you need to have at least 2 or 3 confirmed.
There's no article. I mean, it's just if you search it, like so. I think if you go to, I haven't I'm looking at the PAX. How I can share the PAX website, right? That's not going to be any sort of legal issue.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah, so let me share it with you guys. We'll explore this together. See if we can deconfirm Zelda, which I don't want to do, but we pursue truth.
Yeah. You wanna confirm? Well, I mean, if it's on the PAX website, it's already out there.
Right. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. All right. So I think, where would I go to see this? Would I go to the Expo Hall? The Expo Hall map.
There we go. Yep.
I don't want to download the map. It's not. I have. Yeah. You guys aren't gonna see the download. I'm gonna have to like. You guys can't see that, can you?
Oh yeah, they only tell you to download.
Yeah,
Tabletop map.
It doesn't help me. I mean, it helps me, but it's harder. I can't show you guys just like. All right. Well, hold on. I can screen share, I guess. Hold on. One quick. Let me do this.
Oh yeah. So here we have everything officially here. And Nintendo's what's Nintendo's table or booth?
I don't know. I'm gonna find out though.
Nintendo at X.
Oh, I see it. All right, hold on. All right, here, screen capture. There we go.
Hey, look at this! Look at this! Nintendo at PAX. My video came up first. Breaking news.
There you go. Epic.
On Gag.
All right, so now I'm showing you guys on stream. Right, if you look at the Expo Hall. Right, so this is basically when Nintendo was confirmed. I guess no one really dug deep on it. Here it says, under Nintendo, it says Nintendo versus arcade. That's it. That's what it says. So, what does that mean? Is that just just arcade Nintendo games are going to be there, and there's going to have like some competitive esports stuff?
But there's no reason why. Maybe Nintendo versus arcade is an area to play Nintendo games that they are going to be maybe taking there. So, I mean, we can still see Tears of the Kingdom there if they bring a demo to it, because that's but it isn't a Nintendo versus arcade like just their setup, right? I
honestly don't know. It's not something I know too much about, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to believe like everything you're saying and be like, yeah, this doesn't mean anything, but I don't know. Yeah. I'm not. This is my first time even going to PAX. I don't even pay attention to PAX at all. So like, this is like new stuff for me. So, I'm not sure.
What's the booth that they're in? Do you know?
See it again.
What's Nintendo's booth number?
I'll tell you right now. 13055.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me check in with the chat here.
3055.
What do you guys think?
13055.
Thank you, Taker, for the super chat. Taker says, Andres, you'll tower over Nate when you meet him. Yeah, I think we're at different heights.
We'll be a ladder.
Yeah,
like a little staircase, because I'm 5'10". Andre, you're tall, right?
I'm 6'1".
Okay, 6'1".
Yeah.
So basically,
I
have two brothers. One of my brothers is 6'2", and the other one is 6'3".
Everyone thinks I'm short that like hasn't met me. Like, oh, I thought you were like way smaller. Like, it's interesting when you don't see someone like in person, you just see on camera. People make assumptions like, and And that there could be a lot of different, like maybe it's the way I present myself on camera angles. Like I don't stand when I do my videos, like
Hey,
just sitting at you.
check this out. Pokemon is there right next to Nintendo.
Really?
Pokemon, yeah, Pokemon Company's right next to Nintendo.
Okay.
So Nintendo is at 130.55 and Pokemon is at 130.43.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, digging deeper, I see.
So I mean, to me, that's it's a win. And to me, I know you guys are super excited about Tears of the Kingdom, and hopefully it's there the demo, right? I'm just looking forward to making connections, dude. Because getting to know first
Yeah.
thing meeting you guys in person, hanging out, and just the overall experience. I'm taking my business cards, talking to developer companies and stuff, getting in their review code list, which is important.
Yeah.
You know,
It'll still be
maybe,
fun. Right?
maybe products, maybe products that they have there. They'll hand you products. I heard like some people who have products like Audio Technica. I think I was talking to this other guy, YouTuber. He goes every year. They say that companies like when you like Audio Technica and stuff, they give you headphones, microphones and stuff for mentions on the channel, and it's pretty cool, man. You get stuff.
I'm not good at socializing with people. I
You're good
had to do an Uber drive earlier, and
Yeah.
I got in the car, and I'm very nice. I exchange your pleasantries. I'm always respectful.
Yeah.
But then he started like trying to stir up conversation. And in my head, like internally, I'm like, oh God, how am I gonna get out of this? I have to talk to this person for 10 to 15 minutes and just be nice to him and ask him questions and show that I'm engaged and I care. Like these are the machinations that go in my head when someone wants to talk to me, and I'm like, oh damn it! Like I'm not gonna be like, I don't want to talk to you. Like no, if someone wants to talk to me, I'm gonna talk to them. But in my internally, I'm like, how do I get out of this? Like I need to like not do that. The thing is,
Right.
obviously, I can talk to people, right? But it's kind of like there needs to be certain barriers or comfort levels. It needs to be about something
Yeah.
I want to talk about. If it's a stranger, I know they're not gonna want to like analyze like Zelda, and they're not gonna want to talk about like what the One Piece is in One Piece. Like they're not gonna want to talk about that. They're gonna want to talk about politics and weather. And I'll be like, yeah. Although I'll tell you, see what I enjoy talking about. I enjoy talking about like weird stuff. Like if we're gonna talk about weather, I'll talk about weather to you. But I'm not gonna talk about like, oh yeah, it's cold today. Oh, it's hot today. I'm gonna talk about like like hurricanes
cold.
and like Yellowstone Park and potentially erupting. Go on.
No, I mean you said cold. The weather is it gonna be cold?
No, I have no idea. I'm just saying, for example. I'm just saying I'd rather talk about like fire tornadoes and green comets and not like hail.
Aliens, spaceships.
Although I will tell you, when I was in PA, there was one summer where it did hail for a day. It rained, it was sunny, it snowed and hailed all in one day in the summer. It was crazy.
It hails here every day.
In Orlando?
Yeah, we get hail all the time.
What?
Whenever it rains, it hails. Like you see the little like quarter size hail falling on top of cars and breaking windows and all that stuff. It does, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll say that I can talk to somebody, but I don't want to. Like I innately don't want to. Like if I'm forced into it, I can do it. You know what I'm more comfortable with? This is how messed up I am. I don't want to talk to a single person, but if there's like a room where there's a panel, I will gladly sit at that table by myself in front of 1,000 people and just talk. Like that I'm okay with. I am not okay having a one-on-one conversation with a random person I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I did theater and stuff, right? Like I'm okay with being in front of people and doing stuff. I don't I want to be able to talk about stuff I care about. I don't want to talk about stuff that I know I don't care about. I guess that's what it is.
It's easier. It's easier. I've done theater and music and everything like that. It's easier to be on stage than talking to like I can sing in front of like I've sung in front of thousands of people, but if you put me to sing in front of one person or a group of like 2 or 3, no. I'm good. I'm good and shy. I'm like, nah, I'm okay. I'm not gonna do that.
Oh
But
yeah.
I know how it feels.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sing in front. I don't know. I'm first off, I'm bad at singing, but like, I don't know. There's certain things that there's definitely a comfort level that I have with some things versus others.
Hmm.
I got the super chat from Samuel A. It's actually an interesting talking point,
Yeah.
which goes back to our Switch 2 talk. Samuel A. Thank you again for the super chat. But Samuel says, "Nice to see Mike Odyssey on here. If you're putting money down, do you think a Switch 2 is coming late 2023 or early 2024? We got to put money down. We got to make a bet. Which
Dude,
one?
I am a bad gambler because I will put everything down that I own
Oof.
and go over. Like for example, to me, yeah, I'll put money down. Say it's this year. This year we're gonna see, and be able to play the next gen console this year.
Yeah. Um for me, I
You're
would
safe.
say I'm a great gambler. Last time I went to a casino, when we sat down, played blackjack, I won the first game, and that was it. I was like, all right, I won. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm out. That's it.
exactly.
I made $20. I'm done.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I make $20. I'll go take that $20 and try to double it.
Nah. Yeah, I didn't know. No.
Although I did listen to this true story. I went into one casino underage with 50 cents and came out with $500.
That's nuts. That is nuts. And then they take
Yep.
it away from you when they found out you're underage.
My dad was the one who actually went and exchanged it. They really I
Yeah.
had a beard already. I had like a little beard and everything.
Yeah, they couldn't tell. Yeah, you can walk
Yeah.
to a casino. They don't card you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did
They might card you if you ask for alcohol. I think it depends. But yeah, I think you can walk into the building as long as you're not. And if you're with a kid, have I ever seen it? I don't know, because some casinos are at hotels too, right? You can say a kid can't be at a hotel. Like that's it's a little questionable.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm being reported by Yod Bob.
Uh-oh, they're coming they're coming for your money from years ago. They're coming back.
Ninja.
Take that 500.
Ninjas.
Yeah. So anyway, to get back to the question, right? So you would bet
I would.
late 2023.
Yeah.
So Sam, you actually made it a little bit easy for me because you gave me two options. Of the two options, I know in my heart of hearts, I know for a fact which one's more likely and which I'll put more money on. If we're talking about late 2023, implying like October, November release, versus early 2024, implying January to March release, for a fact, I know in my heart of hearts, it is late 2023, without a doubt in my mind. I strongly. So this is a thing about for me personally, and I will gladly take the L on this in the future if I'm proven wrong. It happens. I'm 50-50. I get things right, I get things wrong, right? But anyway,
Get things wrong.
what?
I just get things wrong. I have a Donkey Kong costume that proves it.
Hey, I told you guys there wasn't gonna be anything else but the DLC.
Yeah, man.
I told you. You guys wanted to dream though. You dared to dream, and sometimes you gotta be willing to. Yeah.
Hey, if you ask me again, I'll probably say the same exact thing again.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I say 2023, without a doubt. I mean, I already explained early in the show why I think late 2023 makes way more sense than early 2024. Now, if I'm being real with you, I think there's a possibility these leaks are off, and we're talking about like a mid to late 2024 release. Like I think that's more likely than early 2024 release. It just, I think people put too much stock into the Switch 2020 March 2017 release. That was a unique, isolated event. That's not the norm. The norm for hardware is holiday releases. Heck, you can even look at the Nintendo Switch revisions. When have they happened? In the second half of the year, approaching the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Light came out September. Old came out October. Not March, not April, not February. The reason why Switch came out March was because we know for a fact, they told us they wanted to release it holiday 2016. They wanted to get it out there as fast as possible, but they just weren't ready. They wanted to make sure the software lineup was ready. But I think it was basically just because they're trying to optimize the Switch version for Breath of the Wild to have it as a launch title, and that was basically why we didn't get it until March.
Yeah,
and they were able to get away with that because the Wii U sales were completely they weren't in. So
yeah. Let me check something here quick. You know why? Well, you know why it has to be this year. And I'm gonna go back to this because, believe it or not, this is the most important thing to them over fans. Stockholders, shareholders. Right now they're down. Okay, they're down for 13 points. The stocks are down from. Oh wow, yeah.
I bet you the stocks aren't even too happy with Tears of the Kingdom right now because they're not talking about it.
And it's in red. And it's in full red. Okay, meaning that there is no expectation that they're gonna come back up. That means that right now Nintendo is looking to make it to bring their stocks back up. And the reason why the stocks are this way in red is because there's nothing this year that'll bring it back up. This year is completely empty. 2 games are not going to bring stocks back up because they're not going to be huge system sellers. Nintendo's already sold what they're going to sell. Everybody has 2 or 3 Switches in their houses. Whoever doesn't have one, they're probably going to buy one this year, or not, but the stockholders is why they're not going to wait till late 20, because imagine them not having any games to announce till next year at the end of 2024. What kind of stocks I'll buy some like $1 a piece by then. You know what? Right now they're $1.40. They're $9.40. It's because Nintendo did the split. They split the one stock in 4 to be able to make more and sell more. But yeah, that's the number one reason. This is the year that they're gonna go ahead and I feel like there's some information that's confidential that happens in these stockholder meetings that we're not allowed to know, and Nintendo reassures them that things are gonna move along so that their investments are safe.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I think this is the year for Nintendo, and I think that this is the, not only that, but remember the Super Nintendo World didn't bring up the stocks. Nintendo is still they still have all their chips on their consoles. Super Nintendo World is still brand new. It's like
I also wonder how much money would that even make. Like, I don't know. Like, how much money does that actually bring in?
And they're sharing the revenue with Universal, so it's not like they get all the revenue.
About the movie, I feel like the movie is definitely a bigger deal in the park.
Yep, it is. Actually, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, stocks is the number one reason why I feel Nintendo is gearing for this year. And just look at the calendar, guys. If you go to Nintendo game release list 2023, you'll see all the games they have next. And right now we're in March, right? What's the next game on the calendar?
Wait, say it again. Yeah. After March.
What's the next game?
After March, Advance Wars in April.
Okay, Advance Wars. What's the next game after that?
When is the meeting? Because Bayonetta Origins comes out March 17th. I forget. Advance Wars is sometime in April, and then Tears of the Kingdom is May 12th.
Okay, yeah, and Advance Wars is not it's a game.
Are you serious? Are you serious right now, Mike? Are you telling me that Advance Wars is not? Advance Wars is 2 games. It's 2 games. 1 and 2 reboot camp. I'm just kidding. You're right. I mean, it's gonna be great. I'm buying Advance Wars. I am hyped for that. But that is definitely a smallish release.
It's not gonna make you buy a Switch if you don't own one.
What are you talking about? There's like 50,000 people who love Game Boy, who loved Advance Wars from the Game Boy Advance, who hate everything else from Nintendo. Like, listen, this is our time. We're coming. Those 50,000 Switch units that are about to sell out immediately because Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp. That's gonna change everything.
So yeah, let's look up the next game coming up.
I'm sorry for the joke. I'm gonna stop now.
No, you're good, man. You're good. The next system seller is the Nintendo Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, Pikmin. Yeah, maybe.
Kidding
I don't
me?
know.
Pikmin. Have you seen those graphics? Have you
Oh,
seen those graphics? There is a dog in it. There is a Pikmin dog. That's
but
easy 20 million right there.
no, but I'm telling you, the graphic they do look
They do,
crazy.
yeah. They really they look great.
But then that's it. That's it for the rest of the year. That's it. That's it. For the first time in history, we don't know what's happening in August.
Now, I will
Or
tell you, I do think we should acknowledge that they have several major DLC projects planned for this year. The Xenoblade DLC is going to be significant. The Splatoon DLC is going to be significant. The Pokemon DLC is going to be significant. I think the Fire Emblem one might be a little underwhelming, but we'll see.
Yeah, but they're significant to people who already own the game. You know, people who already played the entire game.
And I'll also say Xenoblade's not. Well, the thing is, I would say the Xenoblade one might be pretty significant because that may have its own physical release. That may almost function like a game for a particular month. That said, I also think that is guaranteed to sell less than Xenoblade 3, which is a great seller, but is it the kind of game that's gonna make stockholders feel happy? No. Maybe it sells like 1 million, 2 million copies, right? Like that's not enough.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So definitely it has to be this year. Definitely, I'm guessing we're gonna get a Mario movie. Best year to release a new Mario movie, not movie, game, because of the movie and because we're getting the movie digitally released in November. You know, so I mean, I was leaning towards December, but because first thing you said November, and because the Mario movie is actually releasing in November also. I'm now more towards November.
Mario game in November makes sense. December is really late. It's really late. Like I think you only do December if you are struggling to manufacture everything in time.
Oh man, Blue Moon said that the Pokemon Violet update broke the game, corrupted save files. Oh, not good.
Good thing I'm not firing up my Pokemon game for a little bit. I'm not even
gonna turn it on because it'll update automatically.
You know what's crazy? That the next DLC is not slated till fall. It's a long time from now.
Yes, because by then the Switch will be out. The next gen console will be out.
Ooh, see, yeah, and that's an interesting perspective because right now everyone's talking about because you know how I explained earlier how the DLC it actually tells us it's coming out sooner, but everyone's kind of assuming that it's coming out with DLC 2 early next year.
Yeah.
What would be cool though is if Nintendo turns around and releases DLC 1 around the release of the game, and then all those conversations, those debates about it coming out with DLC 2 are like, whoa, DLC 1, huh? That's funny. Still, I mean, I don't think DLC is gonna be a launch title. Like, they're gonna focus on like a big game to come out with that, which I believe is almost, it's like 90% Mario.
Yeah. So let's say July announcement, okay? July announcement with Mario on the same day, November. October, well, we can't get a game in October if it's no.
Maybe November is too late. Maybe we're talking about October. Maybe October is Mario and November is the Pokemon DLC and Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 4 seems more like an October game.
Yeah, but the thing is, yes.
Maybe Mario for the holiday, for Christmas. That looks like a game that kids will pick up on Christmas.
So, the reason why I'm saying it the other way around is just because I feel like Prime 4 shouldn't be a launch title, but it coming out after, but it coming out when Switch 2 is out makes sense. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Because then people are going to buy Prime 4, not have the graphics patch, and then a month later get the graphics patch on a new system. I feel like it makes sense to do it the other way around. Like, I think the games that should come out right before the launch should be not big new games, but like some remasters. Because, you know, if you're playing remasters, you're not going to be upset that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to buy Prime 4 in October knowing that there's a next gen version available in November. you want to do it the other way around. So maybe leading up to the launch, they'll have some.
Yeah.
They'll still be games, but they'll be the kind of games that it won't really matter that much where you play it on. You know.
Now, I'm in the train where if you buy in October Prime 4, you'll still have access to it in the next gen. But do you think Nintendo will charge you for that patch? $10 or something to get
Do you think they're gonna, or do you think they're gonna charge people for that Pokemon patch?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think
Maybe,
so.
maybe if you have Nintendo Online, no. If you don't, then you have to pay like a DLC patch or whatever.
I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky.
Nintendo loves money.
I think a lot of Switch games that have dynamic resolutions and choppy frame rate, like they're just gonna look and run better naturally on the next system. A little bit, not a lot. They're not gonna like do some 4K update for most of them, and then they're gonna be selective with some popular Nintendo titles that makes sense to do the patch for, and that'll be it. I don't think they're gonna charge for it. I don't know. I may change my mind next week and be like, yeah, they're charging. You're right. But right now, just my gut feeling is that they won't. But my gut may feel differently after I have some tacos in my system, and I'll be like, you know what, Mike, you're right. They are going to charge for those patches. But right now, I'm going to say no, with not a lot, not a lot of evidence behind it. But let me think on it for a little bit. Maybe I'll argue or I'll scream at you on Wednesday, be like, hey, I thought about it. You're right.
The patches, man. The patches.
Yeah.
That'll be something. Wave 1 patch. Wave 2 patch. Wave 3 patch.
Yes, Joycey J. Tacos give me strength.
Yep. Especially when they're authentic.
Authentic tacos. Oh man, you're making me hungry. Yeah, I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Yeah, me either. It's 11:28. I haven't had dinner yet either. So
yeah, we haven't. I don't know. I've been really enjoying the discussion. I've got like caught up. I didn't realize we were already talking for 3 hours.
Right.
I didn't notice at all.
That's what happens when time goes by, right? And you're having fun.
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday.
So we're gonna wrap up the stream soonish. Couple things I want to get to. One, I have a super chat from Brian Doe, and then I want to talk about Metroid real quick because I said we would talk about it. We haven't really talked about it yet. So thank you, Brian, for the super chat. Brian says, "Leaked name of the next Switch." It's not leaked. It is Switch U. All right. So first off, I the reason why I had that to the side saying it's not leaked is just for people who don't want to get spoiled. It's obviously not a real leak. It's a joke. Yeah. Now, secondly, how dare you even joke about that? Switch U? No. How dare you? Yes, 10,000 Noodles. Cursed name. Oh my goodness.
No way. This time the U stands for Ultra.
I just imagined throwing my Switch out the window when you said that. I don't know. Switch Ultra is okay in the 90s. It would have been It would have been a cool name in the 90s.
Yeah, with some lights like lights like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a fully. Well, do we have one? Maybe we do. Never mind. Probably do. But what I want is a fully pro Nintendo Switch that looks like this.
I think it looks pretty clunky. I think that the Switch 2 or Plus is going to look a lot more sleek.
No, I mean the same color, like the entire thing, the same color.
Like black.
Like black, like the pro color.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah. The thing is, the Switch is like just a tablet, like, so there's not really much on it. And the Joy-Cons would dress up the system. Yeah.
If you take the Switch and you add those Joy-Cons by Hori, the ones that are extra big.
Oh, the GameCube ones? Yeah, it makes it look like that.
You compare it to it, it's the same size. Yeah, it's the same size. Like, and it's just clunky. Only feels wobbly in the middle because it's thinner in the middle.
Yeah. So all right, let's get to some last questions here, and then we'll get into our final topic. Josh Coleman, you check out the new episode of Attack on Titan? No, I haven't. I heard that it's really good. What?
So there's a show?
What?
There's a show called Attack on Titan?
Yes, yes, there is.
This is the game also, right?
Mike Odyssey, are you a fan of the anime?
I'm a fan of the game.
So Attack on Titan's an anime. It's a very popular one, and they are about to finish up the entire series. Attack on Titan is one of the few anime that I would recommend to non-anime watchers, actually.
Okay, yeah, because I watch anime. My animes are Dragon Ball, of course, Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
Super.
You hyped for Budokai Tenkaichi? Are you hyped for that? Are you gonna pick that up? You're not much of a Dragon Ball gamer.
I like Budokai. I like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I played in played like back in the day.
So there's Budokai and there's Budokai Tenkaichi, right? Budokai is like the 2D style. Budokai Tenkaichi is a 3D style.
Yeah, I like the 2D style better.
Okay.
I feel like the 3D style is like, finicky there. But I have to see it first. Maybe I'll like it.
There'll be a modern version of that. So.
Yeah. So Pokemon, Dragon Ball. What else? My daughter isn't crazy. My daughters are crazy about Sailor
Moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic at this point. She's cultured.
Yeah, my older daughter watches a whole bunch of other.
Yeah.
Anime and those little pillows, and then I have to take her to the concert they have here. Sometime here, they have concerts all the time. There's this anime all about a boy band, like a whole bunch of boy bands, and so I have to take her to when they have a theater.
That's not the kind of anime I watch. So.
Yeah, it's like a concert and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's cool. Yeah, well, I mean, Attack on Titan. I mean, I wouldn't recommend for young girls. How old are? I mean, you don't have to tell me we're on camera, but
my daughter's I have a daughter that's 25.
Okay, she could watch. She probably has already watched Attack on Titan.
Yeah. She's the one with the special needs, and then they have the other with the other one is 13.
Okay. Yeah. That's up to you. Do you do you let your daughter watch R-rated movies?
No.
I mean, it may be more like PG-13, but Attack on Titan's kind of gruesome. It's a little gruesome. Yeah, but it's great if you want to watch it on your own. 100% recommend. It's definitely on the dark side though. Like it's violent, it's explicit, but it's a great story. It's an amazing story.
My older daughter's adopted, by the way. I adopted her. So
cool.
Yeah, not that old, guys.
I was, honestly, I was just thinking that you had her when you were like 18 or something. You just had her really young. Yeah, 15.
No, I'm a mama's boy. I stuck to. I got married when I was 24, 25.
Okay.
I've been married for 16 years.
I have been single for a very long time. All right. Moving on the chat here. Sphero Man, the Nintendo swap.
People say I look 30. I look 25. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
You don't look old at all. Like I wouldn't.
I need to hang out more here. Like 98 degrees. I remember that.
So I got a super chat from Taker610. Thank you very much for the super chat, Taker. Taker says, I think we skipped June Direct and September Direct is huge. Huge? Yeah. Huge would be great, but I think I would wither up and die if we don't get any announcements between now and September. So while there may not be a June Direct, there will be announcements between now and then, because that would mean no game in June. That would mean no game in August. And maybe a shadow drop in September, but that would be it. So I think that's unlikely. I mean, you could be right about there not being a June Direct. I'm just saying there's going to be something. There's got to be something to bridge that gap. Yeah. Josh, I almost feel bad for Mike White because we're lasting so long. We're going on so long with the show. Maybe. All right. Okay, let's get into the Metroid talk. So, guys, if you want to put in like your final questions or things, we'll get to it right at the end. It won't be an hour-long tangent for wrapping up the show, but let's get into the Metroid Prime talk. So, basically, we're seeing that Metroid Prime has had some strong sales in the UK. That's not accounting for digital, so we're not entirely sure, but I think it's the number 2 ranked Metroid in the UK. I gotta double check that, but it's selling well. The bigger story is that Paul Gale has said that Prime Remastered has sold over 1 million already worldwide. That's pretty cool.
That's good. I put it
Yeah.
lifetime sales. I put it like a 3 million. This is not bad for a remake, dude. For a remaster, that's not bad at all for a remaster.
Yeah, it's not bad. I definitely want it to sell more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the original Metroid Prime sold about 2.84 million. Now, you know, I personally think that Prime Remaster should beat that. If it's going to be on a modern system, now I understand it's a remaster, but it's remastered greatly. Like it's effectively a new game. So I feel that it should eclipse that 2.84. I would now. I mean, you said you think you'll think it'll break 3, or you're hoping it'll
Yeah,
break 3.
I know a little bit 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good game. I
yeah.
mean, I'm
yeah.
almost done with it.
I guess it's one of those things where, you know, we may underestimate like the conversation we see online seems to be very much about like everyone who's like a gamer like is at least aware of Metroid Prime. It's like, oh, this is really cool. But outside of our bubble, how many people actually care? Because I feel like a million is still kind of small. And I don't know, you know, we don't know the full details, right, on that million, as of when. And, I mean, it's only been out for less than a month. Like, you know, like, where will it be by the end of the year? If it continues to sell. It's at $40. That thing's got to continue to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, honestly, this is what I thought. And I could be wrong. I probably am. I feel like Metroid Prime should sell at least 4 million copies.
And it'll eventually go on sale too. So imagine if it's $40 now, when it's on sale, it's gonna be like 29. So there is gonna be sell like a lot more too.
Yeah, especially if it goes on sale like when they show off Metroid Prime 4. Ooh.
Oh yeah, sure.
That'll be cool.
For sure.
That will be cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's not that long of a topic. It's just great that Metroid Prime is showing strong sales. But you know, I'll ask you, Mike. Let's say Prime gets to that 4 or 5 million mark, right? Maybe, right? We don't know. Maybe it shuts down around 2. We're not sure. But I mean, 2 is still not terrible. What do you think Prime 4 can do? Like, does Prime 4 hit that 10 million mark? Like, how crazy is the 10 million mark for Prime 4?
So now that I'm looking at, I'm playing Metroid Prime the remaster. I'm actually impressed by how it looks.
Yeah,
I'm actually incredibly impressed about how it looks. It doesn't even look like a Switch game. It looks like one of those impossible ports.
Yeah.
It looks great. It looks fantastic. I mean, I feel that Nintendo is making the right move with this remaster because Prime 4 is going to be so much above it when it comes to quality, maybe story, maybe graphic wise. Then I can see Prime 4 easily breaking 10 million.
You do.
I can easily see Prime 4, just because first thing, believe it or not, the fact that it's been out there, the little logos only's been out there for a while, it's created a lot of conversation. A lot of people who maybe were looking forward to Prime 4, maybe Prime 4 is the reason why they're getting Prime Remaster, you know? And I just think that they're actually making this game unlike any other Metroid game that's out there right now. You know, I think they're focusing on the quality. I think this game is gonna have a good story to it. I think it's gonna have added features. You know, not just the ones we're used to. I feel like this game is gonna actually be and I'm not saying this, but yeah, the Breath of the Wild of Zelda, meaning the game that's gonna break Metroid Prime out into the atmosphere for the entire audience, and from then on, I think the Metroid franchise will be at the level of Zelda and all the other games that Nintendo has already selling in the million. But I think Metroid Prime is that game. I mean,
I might cry if Prime 4 breaks 10 million.
The fact that they've been changing so much with Metroid Prime and companies taking over, people have come to help, and there's so much activity going around this game. Just I like that. You know why? Because it shows that there's worry behind this game, and there's that there's a tense air that this game needs to be good. This game needs to be not just be another Metroid, that be the Metroid game that people are talking about for just like they talk about from Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This has to be that Metroid game. It's not gonna be just any other game. I feel like it's gonna be a leaps, you know, ahead of what Metroid has been so far, you know, and that's what I feel it's gonna be. That's my what I feel this Metroid Prime 4 will be for the franchise. And I mean, how long has it been in development right now? I know that they've been rebooted and new people come in.
They announced the restart back in January of 2019.
Yeah, and yeah,
So,
I think it's gonna be,
at least
I think
4 years.
I think it's gonna be a big game. It's gonna be a big game.
Yeah, I mean that's what I want, right? And I've said it many times, right? You look at that the announcement of the development update, right, where they announced the delay. The only other time Nintendo puts out a video where someone comes out in front of a white screen and announces the delay is a Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
When it's any other game, it's just like a Twitter post or not even that, right? Like the only time they come out on stage and announce a delay is for Zelda and Metroid Prime 4. I think that says a lot. They also said they want to measure up to the quality of Metroid Prime. And the quality of Metroid Prime is literally one of the greatest games ever made. Metacritic is one of the highest games ever rated. Sales-wise, it's good, but it definitely is not that, right? But quality-wise, which is what they've talked about, it'll be there. So hopefully Nintendo puts that marketing behind it, and that shows. And we'll see.
I predict Metroid Prime 4 is gonna be a system seller, and it's gonna bring a lot of fans from outside Nintendo into Nintendo atmosphere because of the quality of a first person it's gonna be.
I actually personally want Prime 4 almost to come out next year just to have more time to build it up. And because think of it like this, right? Like if Mario's like this year, like maybe Nintendo has something else big for the next holiday, right? Don't just you have Pokemon and Metroid next year. You know, you don't have to do like Mario and Metroid right next to each other.
Yeah.
But also, it's interesting about that timing is that for sure by 2024, by the end, we assume that we'll get that Call of Duty, right? And if maybe that Resident Evil remake gets ported over as well, maybe they announce a port of Elden Ring as well, and all of a sudden, to your point about maybe non-Nintendo gamers coming in, if they have like a good Call of Duty, if they have a good Resident Evil, games that people play on other systems, but it's on the Switch, and then they show up Prime 4, which appeals to them, and it's like Nintendo's Game of the Year candidate for that year, and it's like the best looking Nintendo game we've ever seen. It could be its opportunity to really gain a whole other audience.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm excited for the game now that I'm playing, dedicating more time to that actually went through my mind when I was just playing Metroid Prime remake. I was like, this game is crazy. So this game is crazy. It's the first one in the Metroid Prime series. I can't imagine what Metroid Prime is going to be like. That's going to be another level. And right now this game is being hoarded. You know, the physical versions. You know. And Nintendo had to go and said they were going to make more copies.
Right.
To meet demand. So that itself is a big thing. They've caught the eye of Nintendo when it comes to the physical copies. So the next game it's going to be so much bigger. So much bigger.
Yeah, I will say that Paul Gale saying the game's broken at 1 million actually does alarm me personally, just because I feel like 1 million is not that much. I mean, it is, right? Like it is, but I'm just thinking like how long does it have like that sales rush for, right? Because if it doesn't have legs, where does it stop, right? Like if it was only at 1 million after almost a month.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's not counting the physical copies that are yet to be sold. People are complaining because there are not copies.
Yeah.
So if you let's say Nintendo made enough copies, that number would have been a lot higher.
Sure. Yeah, and you know, with its price and because of how pretty it is, maybe it has more legs than Metroid Dread does.
Yeah, yeah,
So you know, we'll see, we'll see.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely not bad, right? Like I don't, I think Prime Remasters, they're gonna look at it and be like, hey, yeah, this is solid. You know, like this is a solid release.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so far my first impressions of the game, I restarted the game 2 days ago. I'm loving it, like loving. I think this game is gonna make me a Metroid brand fan because I like it a
Yeah.
lot. It's pretty cool.
And you
Yeah,
enjoyed Dread recently, like you know, like you're coming
I
to the
did.
fold.
I actually like this one better than Dread.
Okay.
I'm liking, I'm liking this one because I like first person shooters and I like
Right.
3D games.
Yeah, but this one's more of like an adventure. Is that turning you off at all, or are you enjoying it more because it's like an adventure?
I like it more actually. I like
Yeah.
it more because I feel more immersed in the game.
Yeah.
Like looking, I could see this game in VR. You know, me looking around, shooting
Yeah.
around me. So I like the three. I'm more of a 3D fan more than a side scroller.
Sure.
So yeah, that's why for Mario, Bowser's Sphere is my favorite because it's just most amazing 3D Mario that's ever done, and the biggest baddest Bowser you've ever seen in a game ever. You see Bowser like so huge and so big and so full of
It's
fury.
yeah.
You're on top here, right at the toppest point.
Yeah.
He goes like looks at you, and it looks so so crazy, creepy, and
The
scary.
scale,
Like
the
this guy.
scale is huge, especially because they also. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. Well, no, they actually had in the promotional material. Like Mario gets really big too at some point, and you can
Yeah,
have
yeah.
it's like two giant titans, like Godzilla versus like that's super cool.
And
Yeah.
still he's not a piece of cake. He's not like any other Bowser ever created. But the thing is that the entire game is mostly a boss battle. It's like a big giant boss battle for the entire game. So it's awesome. I recommend it, guys. If you haven't played Mario Bowser's Fury, then
Oh, it's
pick
it's,
it up.
it's
It's
very
awesome.
good. Yeah, it's actually 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is discounted right now. So
Is it right now? Right now?
yeah,
Like
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, on the eShop you can get it for cheaper.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. What was I gonna ask? Oh, quick. I saw something like this in the comments, but gonna. Brian Doe, thank you for the super chat. Brian says, new Switch name leak. It will be called the Swap. What are
The
we
swap?
swapping? What are we swapping? That's what
I
I ask. Or maybe
I
you
like
swap, like maybe you can have two different screens and swap. I don't know. Yeah,
I like it though. I like it. It's hilarious.
yeah.
Nintendo Swap.
Swap is
It's another game. It's another name for Switch. But you know,
Yeah.
dude, NX was believe it or not, it was a hint at the Switch.
cross.
Yeah, it was. The X is another symbol for switching. So another, that was like a little hint at the Nintendo Switch.
That is interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah. Let me ask
We-
this.
we-
Let me ask this question. It's kind of going back to Metroid. I just want to ask you, how do you
Yeah.
feel about the scanning?
scanning is good. I'm getting used to it.
Okay.
I'm getting used to it. Yeah, I'm getting
Okay.
used to it. What I can't get used to is turning into a ball. I keep forgetting how to turn into a ball. I think that they
Oh.
get easier. Because right now, top of my head, I can't remember how to turn into a ball.
Yeah. I mean, you can. You know, I think one thing about Prime Remaster, like I think it has really really good control options. You have a lot of custom. You can't customize everything. We can customize a lot more than people
Yeah, yeah.
realize. But you have to go into the options to look. I think that's
Okay.
part of the problem. Like
Yeah.
I don't like how you have to go back. I don't like it when games have all these great control options, but
Mhm.
there's nothing saying, "Hey, check this out." Right? It's just like you have to check. If you don't check, you'll never know. Like for example, Prime Remaster has gyro controls like Splatoon, but it's not default. And for me, it's the best way to play. But most people won't know. And I'm not saying make it default. If you don't want to make it default because you want to turn people off, that's fine. Because a lot of people are kind of people are hot and cold about motion controls as a whole.
Yeah.
But I would have thought it would have been nice if they could have had like a moment say, "Hey, these are your different control options," like something there. But I guess because it was a remaster, they didn't want to change anything about the game itself. So that might have had something to do with it. But
I'm gonna play
Yeah.
with that. I'm gonna play with controllers to see if I can get it to work. But I'm enjoying the game, and I
Yeah.
think it's
What are you playing with? Dual analog or something else?
no, I'm playing with my controllers.
Well, like
I'm playing at the normal first person shooter settings,
twin stick.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I like that because I'm already used to kind of
Yeah.
controlling the camera and the character at the same time.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
how I think it should be. And I think that'll help too to make the game more mainstream because most people understand how to play a first person shooter. So don't throw people off. But yeah, we're pretty much at the end of the stream, guys. Guys, if you want to put any final questions or points, I'll give you like 60 seconds. So go ahead. Mike, any final thoughts before we close out?
Switch 2 is coming out this year. I'm enjoying Metroid, which is an amazing game. Metroid Prime 4 is gonna be a hit. What else? Mario movie is gonna be awesome. It's coming out next month.
Oh yeah.
Cannot believe it's coming out in literally
we're less than a month away.
Yeah, so it's coming on I'm just hoping that I get that email, hey, you wanna be part of the screening or whatever. Yeah. I'm just hoping to see it early. If you guys want to see early, there's our screeners. Like you can go sign up. Just Google movie screenings happening near me. Their website, they actually point you in the right directions to get screenings for movies. And
really?
I'm already
Is it like a gimped version or is it the exact same quality?
No, the same. No, yeah, it's in the theaters. It's in the actual theater and everything. And it's just a small group. The tickets are limited, but if you catch them, you can actually watch them at least 5 to 6 days earlier. I'm still waiting for them to post the ones for here. I used to run a YouTube. My first YouTube channel was the movie YouTube channel. It was called Crispy Nugget TV. So if you go to Crispy Nugget TV, you'll probably see really old like Mike before anything. But I got a whole bunch of information on how to get early screenings like that. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun, man. Been really fun. We should do it again soon. Yeah, dude. Yeah. This
for me, just conversation. Just I didn't realize we were streaming for this long.
Yeah, man. And and I gotta tell you, you have an amazing community. I love everybody in the chat. They're so friendly, so like welcoming and everything. I know like a quarter of them. Everybody else has been fantastic as well.
Yeah. Guys, please follow Mike Odyssey. His channel is linked in the description below. All right. Great content creator. Yeah.
Appreciate it. We got this Saturday. Saturday is Mario Day, so we're having a tournament. Oh. So you're invited. You're invited to come over.
Yeah.
We're having a Mario Kart tournament on Saturday, and I think they also want Splatoon, so we're gonna have a Mario Kart.
The thing is, I don't want to come on and beat everyone. Like it's not cool. Actually, I'll tell you this: playing online, or I have some friends. I thought I was like the absolute best at Mario Kart. There are people who are better than me at Mario Kart. Like that is same thing for Smash too. Like I used to think I was really good. Like I beat all my friends at Smash. I beat all my friends at Mario Kart. But the world is a big place.
Listen, I know when I do the Mario Kart tournaments, I know I'm gonna lose. I know I'm always gonna be the last. I'm like, you know what? I'll just be what do you call that? Commentator.
Yeah, I'll be commentating is actually really fun for Mario Kart. Yeah,
I do commentating throughout the races, and then I do commentating for Splatoon. Man, it's hilarious because people are just insane in Splatoon. And
the green girl splurted the orange boy, and now his eyes are on the floor. Ugh.
Yeah, you can tell who's ever been here during our Splatoon. I have to make up these creepy names for the characters. Like hot dog.
You cut out there for a second. What about hot dogs? Ruby, stop snuggling with the monitor.
No, I'm saying that like I have to make up these crazy names according to how they look. I'm like, oh no, guys, his hot dog in the league, and we have Smash. Smash is in the league. Oh no, potato chip is down, and the winner is hot dog. And people go,
You keep making me hungry, man. You keep mentioning food, nuggets, hot dogs, potato chips.
That's what they have in Fall Guys, the little character, the little.
Yeah. Actually, I love Fall Guys. Fall Guys is fun, and now I'm more hungry. All right, let me check with the chat real quick. And we'll close things out here. Sean, this was an awesome video. You two talk about next gen Nintendo hardware rumor, even though we want to take it with a grain of salt. I don't believe in rumors until Nintendo confirms themselves. Absolutely. I mean, it's fun to have the discussions, but we shouldn't make assumptions. I mean, sometimes we do, but it's definitely fun to speculate and try and piece together what may be happening. Thank you for saying that, Sean. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
10,000 Noodle says Mike does really good commentary. Having Hope says it's always funny when I lose. I'm assuming in relation to Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Samuel A. I am, however, a beast at Smash. Yeah, I'm sure some of you guys are better at me than Smash. Chris, Super Chris, I've played Smash with him before. And he is walled. Or was he? No, he's better. For sure, he's better than me at Mario Kart. I have a hard time beating Chris at Mario Kart.
How many players can you play in Smash? How many players are in Smash? Because I have the game, but I never play it.
So you can go up to 8. 8 at once. Yeah. I mean, not every stage, but a lot of stages up to 8. Yeah.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Yeah. I'll definitely say that, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to play Smash, right? Like, you want to go very party, have a lot of people over, you go up to 8 people, right? But there are people who like having tournaments, doing the duels, the 1v1s. Do you use items? Do you not? Like, there's a lot of customization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I think we need more party games. More party games like that where a lot of people can join.
Yeah. You know what I miss? Nintendo Land. Nintendo Land on the Wii U. That's one of my favorite Wii U games. It is so good. That is like if there's, I kind of want to play it now. Yeah, Nintendo Land. I hope Nintendo makes a new Nintendo Land someday.
So how will Mario Kart 9 different from Mario Kart 8? I can tell you that. That's easy. Mario Kart 9 will be different from Mario Kart 8, as in what they're going to do with Mario Kart 9 is basically bring new carts, more customization when it comes to carts, new character reveals out of Smash Bros. Ultimate. They're gonna, of course, new tracks, new player modes.
When do we get Mario Kart 9?
I think next year. I think that's gonna be a.
You know what? I'm warming up to it. Because I'm thinking maybe Nintendo just wants Mario Kart to be relevant forever.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be next year.
The only thing that holds me back from is that they're giving us all this new Mario Kart content now. We just why are you gonna give us a whole new game immediately next year? That's the part that kind of throws me off.
And believe it or not, I think it's because they know that before they decided to DLC that they have the mark where they should have released another Mario Kart game. So instead of releasing another Mario Kart game, they decided to go with the DLC. Mario Kart 8 came out in 2014.
It's nuts.
Right? 2014.
Yeah. I'll also say this, that there are some games that come out that have annual releases. I think people will be okay with the new Mario Kart if it comes out next. Yeah, I think not many people will complain about that. Yeah.
So what I think, Mario Kart 9 will be like Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're gonna have from Final Fantasy drivers. We're gonna have people.
I think you gotta include all the content in the booster course pack. I don't know.
Yeah. Squall from Final Fantasy be in there. We're gonna have for example, from this guy that he was just added, Sora from
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, from Kingdom Hearts is gonna be in Mario Kart. So
really?
they're gonna basically do what they did with Mario Kart, with Smash Bros. Ultimate, but with Mario Kart.
I want them to Diddy Kong it. Diddy Kong Racing it, have an actual adventure with maps you can explore. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to say, Mike?
That's it, man. I mean, we have enough to talk about for 3 podcasts.
Oh yeah. We'll save it for soon. But yes, guys, thank you for watching. If you like the stream, that would be awesome. If you haven't subscribed before, please do so now. And also make sure to check out Mike's channel, Mike Odyssey. It is linked in the description below. He is also an amazing Nintendo content creator and person. So yeah.
Appreciate it. Dude, 2 words. Never give up. Journey on.
Awesome. All right. Have a good night, guys. Bye. Cool, man. That was awesome.
Awesome.